a whole lot of Todd's nose there.
Are we live?
Welcome. Yes, we are live.
Oh, we're live.
Yay! Welcome back. Todd is here. Raymond is here. My name's Bella. You guys probably all know, but if you're watching from the 700 Plus channel, then I should probably introduce myself. My name's Bella, Steak and Butter Gal. Now, for those joining and not knowing that we're collabing today, I would love for Todd to first introduce himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Todd Bockness. I'm the host of the Carnivore Cure YouTube channel, and I do live calls in the SBG gang, Steak and Butter gang. And this, for the people on my channel, they know that this is the 700 plus and counting down. You guys are usually used to seeing Michael and Lindy, but we have some very exciting news where Lindy's at right now, because Lindy's getting her skin reduction surgery. So she got it a few days ago. She's healing up wonderfully, and we'll be giving some updates on that here in a little bit. And then Michael is feeling a little bit under the weather today, so he's not joining us, but the SBG gang here was awesome enough to collab with us and join us today. So we're kind of putting our Friday live stream in with our Sunday live stream this time, because there's a lot of festivities going on this week. So
yay! And Coach Raymond, if you don't mind, a quick introduction.
Yeah, quick intro. Hey, I'm Raymond Nazon. I'm 7-year carnivore, and been on this lifestyle and had miraculous a journey. So far, still getting a lot of it. We're talking about things like plantar fasciitis, heel spur, diverticulitis, a lot of issues. But at 52, I feel like I'm thriving. I started all of my stuff around 45, so a little earlier, but like 44, but I don't count that year. But anyways, it's been amazing. So I love to shout it out. And I do coach over in the SB gang, and I teach how people to pretty much eat properly so they can get the best results that they can.
Love it. So we're going to start off with a quick update about Lindy's healing journey. I think that's very important to share. And before we do that, Todd, can you just quickly go through how to submit questions for tonight's live stream?
For sure. So tonight we're going to be doing a live Q&A. So you can put your questions in the chat. Please put 3 capital Qs in front of your questions, and we will get to as many of them as we can in order as we receive them. And then, of course, super chats do take precedent. And so, but with those questions, please put the name of the person on the screen you see here that you'd like to answer the question, because those are going to be kind of rapid fire. And then the super chats are going to be answered by everybody that on the panel that has something to contribute to the question. So there you go.
Perfect. Okay, so let's just show off Lindy's journey first. Yay.
For sure. That's an update from Lindy. So Lindy, for all of you that don't know, and for all of you that do, even more importantly, that helped her get this surgery, which is incredible. Lindy had her surgery about 4 days ago, I believe. And she had her skin reduction surgery, which we've been running the GoFundMe for, that we're so close to completing. And she is in the hospital. She's healing up, doing fantastic. They took 19 pounds of skin off of her front belly area. So she's got that completely off. And even more importantly, how incredibly important this actually was. We didn't even know how important it was. When they got in there, she had a very life-threatening hernia going on that she didn't know about. And the doctor said she likely had about 3 more days before it was a medical emergency, because her colon had gone through this hernia and it was getting strangulated, and it was going to likely die, he figured, in the next 3 days. And then it was going to be emergency surgery, and she could have lost her colon. So that was incredible. In a lot of ways, this GoFundMe actually saved her, possibly saved her life, and definitely saved her colon. So you guys are awesome. We couldn't be more thankful for all the help and support that you guys have given. So
yeah, so I want to reiterate on that one, because it's interesting, because she was thinking about canceling the actual stuff until the GoFundMe happened, and she's like, okay, I can actually sort of afford it. So she went through with it. But wow, I mean, if she didn't, I can't imagine what would have happened. She would have had to have emergency surgery, and that would have been really bad. So, by the way, I wanted to notice, I don't know if it's just me, but I was like looking at her face. I'm like, I know they didn't remove anything there.
No,
That looks like she shrank there, right? No?
right. She's doing fantastic for sure. No, she's been well, as Lindy would say, kicking goals all, for the last several months. Weight's been coming off and she's been doing fantastic. And I think that's just being, I don't think it all sunk in until the morning that she got up and was walking around and she felt what it felt like to not have that
Wow.
dead, dead weight just hanging off you is so constricting. And then I think it all kind of hit her. So I think she's just pretty elated because it's finally real to her now that she's free from it. She really is. It is a life-changing thing. It really is.
To feel what most people couldn't understand what normal feels like. To me, that would be amazing, right?
Yeah.
Waking up one day and feeling, oh, this is what normal feels like.
Yeah, she said she was brought to tears when she looked down and she saw her lap for the first time in forever.
Wow. Wow.
We are literally celebrating for you, Lindy. I think she's watching. Okay. We love you, Lindy. We are all celebrating and cheering for you. And just know that I was ready to contact your doctor if anything went wrong. Okay. But it looks like we don't have to do that.
For sure. Yeah, I think he did his best job ever, probably,
Very good.
Definitely in good hands. So that's awesome.
So happy. Thank you for the update, Todd.
Yeah. With that in mind, I'm still going to put the, whoops. Everybody's like,
Ooh.
yeah, everybody's like, hey, Todd's screen. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pull this up. And I'm going to put the GoFundMe up there just one more time because there is still a little bit of work to finish this off. But, and like I said, we appreciate so much everything you guys have done. And if you have nothing else, if you can just share this on social media, that is more than helpful. So
absolutely.
But I will put that in the chat. And then I reckon we can get going.
Yep. I've started all of the questions coming in, so you don't have to worry about that. GoFundMe is in the chat, and it's also below under the live stream if you guys are watching the playback. I just want to say thank you to all who have contributed and shared the link on the internet. This community is truly awesome, and we together made this happen for Lindy, but also shout out to Todd and Michael for creating the GoFundMe. Bravo, guys.
Yes.
Yes, I can't think of anybody that deserved it more than Lindy. I mean,
I agree.
And also this, I want to shine a little light on too, the fact that these doctors said that, and the insurance company said that this wasn't a life, a necessary surgery for her health. And look how close it was to hiding what almost could have been a real disaster for her. Another reason that's just such a, pardon my French, but a chicken shit excuse from insurance companies. Yes. That they'll pay for people to be on insulin and stay sick. But if you get healthy and you're trying to change your life and get that off of there, they want to pretend like it's a surgery of vanity. And you can see what it meant for Lindy. Yeah. It's, I don't know. That's something that's got to change.
Not vanity. Yeah, absolutely not.
You both saved her life, so we're all very grateful for that. All right, so let's jump into the questions. I'm going to feature Target Prime Rib just because he was so generous again. Thank you, Thomas. So Thomas says, I'm feeling much better, and this is toward therapy from all my uncle jokes. What does that mean?
Toward therapy. He's giving us money so we can afford therapy to get over his bad jokes, he's saying.
Oh, we love your jokes. We don't need therapy from that. It's good for the heart. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, so Tweet and Pearl wants to know, would carnivore help with vascular dementia? Raymond, have you worked with anyone with dementia?
Well, I haven't. I've worked with people who've had lots of brain fog and lots of other mental issues, and that's done very well. I've seen a lot of progress there, but particularly vascular dementia, no. And it all depends. I'm assuming an older person on that. So, but I have worked with older folks that were kind of losing it a little bit, and you could almost see the spark in their eyes when they started nourishing themselves right. So it's amazing for your brain. It really is. Now, are you going to be back to 100% of yourself like you were in your 20s thinking that way? Well, that's going to take a little time. All of it's going to take time.
I recommend checking out Dr. Anthony Chafee. If you're new to the community, you must subscribe to his channel. The best info on how carnivore diet can heal dementia and Alzheimer's. So definitely just search Dr. Chafee. Yep.
Georgia Eid. Actually, I was just watching her. Yeah, she's really good. She covers a lot of things about brains. And she just had a Diary of a CEO interview. That's really good. I recommend watching that.
Yeah, can someone in the live just type it in the chat for everyone? Georgia Eid and Dr. Anthony Chafee. Then those who watch the playback can note their names as well. Thanks, guys. Okay, I just want to give a shout out to some things real quick before we keep answering questions. I just came off my honeymoon and I was on a carnivore cruise. Raymond, look. Dun, dun, dun. Look at this photo.
Oh, that's a cool photo. Oh my God.
I'm at the bottom with Max. And
people, huh?
yeah,
Wow.
Dr. Lisa in the middle. She organized this carb sober cruise, carnivore diet cruise. And there were I think 150 people on this cruise. These are all carnivores right here. This gorgeous family photo. And we had the pleasure to spend our honeymoon on the cruise. I miss like everyone on the cruise, everybody that I spoke to, specifically Lisa Wiedemann, like we got so much quality time with her on the cruise and off the cruise, but it was just such a memorable experience. And if you guys are looking for a great way to vacation as a carnivore while making friends, Dr. Wiedemann is going to do a lot of cruises coming up. So just check out her website. I'll be sure to link it in the chat and also below the video. It's literally the best way to vacation. And Todd and Raymond will be on the ship soon with me.
For sure. Definitely hitting up one of those.
For sure.
Yay.
Or many.
Yeah, or many. Especially if we can get enough people to actually get the cruise to run out of food. That would be my objective.
Yeah, we're gonna make that thing dock to get more meat. That's
exactly. That's it. That way we get an extra port.
Well, if we book out the whole entire cruise, then we can specifically note like no need to pack the seed oils, just pack beef. You know,
there
for
you
the
go.
cruise.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, I heard you had a tour of the kitchen and all that stuff too.
So they did do a tour of the kitchen. I had to miss it, but they did so many special things for the carnivores on board. Every single meal was not cooked in seed oil. They did special orders for me because I didn't want salt. I wanted plain. They were literally so accommodating. So it was honestly
and you got plenty. They gave you as much as
all
you
wanted? You can eat. It's all you can eat. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
10 out of 10. There's the link in the chat if you guys are interested.
That's
okay. Awesome. So fun. All right. This is next from Carolyn. Can carnivore help with COPD? I have a friend with it who won't look into this. Okay. So this is probably best for Dr. Phil. But Todd, did you want to comment?
Yeah, I think it can. So I basically had a version of COPD from COVID lung.
Oh, wow.
Because, and I could be wrong. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying what I believe happened here, but I'm pretty sure COPD is when those little balloon things on the end of your bronchial tubes get fractured and leak fluid, right? And I don't know. I had a bunch of that. That's one of the reasons I had that and congestive heart failure from COVID in 2021, which is why I gained 84 pounds of fluid in 3 weeks and why I ended up on home oxygen. I was on 6 liters of home oxygen. And between Wim Hof breathing and strict BBB&E carnivore, it only took 6.5 months to completely get off home oxygen. And not only that, but from the time I was 14 years old, my oxygen saturation would sit about 88%, no matter what. And I now believe it was from leaking thoracic ducts from my lymphatic system getting into my lungs after talking to George Eid, or not George Eid, but shoot, what's her name? What's the lymphatic gal's name? I forget her name.
Leslie Keith.
Yeah, Leslie Keith. Thank you. Yes. After talking to Leslie Keith, I think that's what was going on. But at any rate, when I got COVID lung and I had some kind of COPD with where those had cracked and were leaking, I was down into like the mid to low 70s. And even with 6 liters of oxygen, I was only getting up to about 88% again. And after about 6.5 months of Wim Hof breathing and carnivore, I'm completely off oxygen and I'm at 96 to 97% saturation, which is the highest I've ever been in my life. So I think it can absolutely heal. I think it can, if nothing else, it can greatly repair a lot of things and maybe not heal it, but it can improve it a lot to where you might end up, I don't know, something about not being in an inflamed state seems to help quite a bit too.
Oh God, oxygen's moving through you.
Yeah, and I think the part of your lungs that are working properly, I think they're just more efficient and they take over the ones that are damaged and that can't be repaired. I think you just move it much more efficiently or something, because I heard that this doesn't heal either, but I'm living proof that I'm not on oxygen. I was supposed to be on oxygen forever because of that, and I'm not on oxygen, and I don't have that oxygen issue anymore, being in the 88th percentile. So
wait, they did say that you have to be on oxygen forever? Damn, man,
yeah,
that's a miracle alone right there.
Yeah, and it only took 6.5 months. That's why I'm calling bull crap on so many things. Like, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying that maybe this is just miraculous. But the fact of the matter is, I don't really think people know what carnivore can heal because we haven't done it long enough and studied it. But I think if you even have a question, especially if it's something that nothing else can heal, why not try it for try it for a year and see? Because I think there's hope. I mean, look what we hear in SBG all the time. That gal that had the mechanical heart valve, and all of a sudden she didn't have to get red blood cell transfusions anymore because her red blood cells were so much more stronger that the mechanical heart valve stopped damaging her red blood cells. I mean, the stuff that we see is just crazy. So.
Yep. Yeah. Miracle stories literally every day that come into the community or that I see online on social media. So don't lose hope. Whatever issue that you're trying to heal, don't lose hope, because carnivore diet could in fact help, maybe even cure it altogether. So if Carolyn wants to reach out to you directly, Todd, let's say the friend wants more info from you, what do you allow people to contact you in any way?
Yeah, but I'm going to be honest, and that's not just because the steak and butter gal's on the show here, but the best way I like to be contacted is through the Steak and Butter Gang. And the reason why is because I've tried, this is, I've been on YouTube, I don't know, about a year and a half now, and I've been carnivore for about 26 months now. And every time I've tried to help anybody outside of a community, they fall off because they don't have any support system. They need more than just talking to me once a week or once, twice a month. They need a place to go and something to focus on. And you guys need to see the dozens and hundreds of people for yourself that come up with their blood tests and with their results saying this healed. You guys need to see it for yourself and not hear it from me. And that keeps people carnivore. So if you would like help with that, I'd love to have you join SBG. I don't get anything for saying that. That's just where I prefer to help people. So
I'll put up the banner for the link. It is sbgmeetup.com. I try not to talk too much about it because it just comes off that I'm so obsessed with the community that I created to the point where it's like, let me just shut up. And even though I want to talk about it 24/7, I do tend to be quiet about that. But seriously, when you hear other members talk about their experience in community, in any carnivore community, and there are lots of great ones these days, you really don't have to search hard. When you hear members talk about their experience, I feel like that's the most magical thing to hear. Because again, this photo right here, so many people came from SBG. So many people, I recognize their faces, their voices, their stories, and I got to hang out with them for 7 days on a cruise. It's just the best way to stay on track. You don't feel like you're an alien. You literally don't feel like you're crazy when you get to live it with a whole community. So Todd is in there doing these amazing open chat meetings. Raymond teaches his priming and fasting protocol. It's a wonderful family if you need the support. Thanks, Todd.
The best part I want to say about this, and nobody really sees it this way, but I used to tell my nurses and my doctors about what's healed on me. And, I would just get this overlook, okay, it's no big deal kind of thing. Really realize that the stuff that I had, like diverticulitis, is incurable. You can look that up. Diabetes, incurable.
Right.
I actually am no longer any of those. And for them to gloss it over. So, you'll get family members that's like, oh, I just can't do whatever you do. Guys, you don't realize, like, I went where it's like, I feel like a human being again.
Mhm.
So what I'm just saying is that when we come in the SBG and people are telling us this, we relate. We're like, oh, damn, I had that problem. Oh, wow, this is miraculous. And we'll actually say it. I am always amazed at what can get actually alleviated on a carnivore diet. Amazed. And I hear them week after week after week. Tons of testimonials. Thing is out there, if you tell it, they have no idea what to do with that information, nor do they care enough to look into it. This is why a closed community is so important. So I can't shout it out enough how important it is to be part of a community like us.
For sure.
Love you guys.
Oh,
Absolutely
oh,
agree. Ooh,
Yes.
look who's here.
Oh,
now our
oh,
panel is
great.
complete. Welcome,
Yes.
Dr. Phil Smith.
Hi.
Hi.
And I saw him in person, Bella. I don't know if you saw the picture.
Oh my gosh, I saw the
He's
photo
by
in the
Atlanta.
chat.
Yeah.
And the
cool.
first thing I said is, oh, Phil's taller than you. He's tall.
Yeah, he is tall. I was surprised how tall he was.
Yeah. He's
So,
like, you're 6 foot, right? 6 or over 6 foot.
6
yeah,
foot.
he is taller than me. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looked
So
fun.
have I missed anything?
We just started
did.
answering a couple questions. I think Todd and Raymond are doing fantastic. Didn't have to set any aside for you just yet.
Well, there was that COPD one, but that's
No, but
besides-
Todd was perfect for that one.
Yeah,
So we are
Todd's
good.
perfect.
Also, you missed this, Phil. Look at
Oh, yeah.
this.
Oh,
This
that's great.
family cruise photo. 150
That-
carnivores.
That looks like the Poseidon adventure right before it tipped over.
So awesome.
Anyway, good time. A lot of people.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, let's keep going. This is from Quintero. Welcome. Hello, does the uric acid increase on a carnivore diet? Thanks. Phil, if you don't mind.
It could temporarily, but in most cases, it's going to decrease over time. We see a lot of people who have gout that come in to SBG, and over time, they may have a gout attack or two while they're first transitioning, but they probably would have had those anyway. And gout tends to resolve on carnivore. So it's because you're reducing inflammation in your body.
Yeah, would love to hear from those on carnivore, which most of you are on carnivore. Could you please share, for those who have tested uric acid, your personal experience? Have you noticed your uric acid go up after going carnivore, not change, or go down? Would be interesting to see. All right, let's keep going. Ashley's in the house from Carnivore Brothers. Shout out to Ashley.
Awesome.
So this is a perfect opportunity. Yeah, go ahead, Todd.
Well, I was going to say, I heard Ashley and Brett made you guys some awesome steaks at Kilty's.
Exactly. I don't have like a poster photo to show off, but I can talk about it. And I really wanted to talk about this Dr. Kilt's X Healing Humanity meetup. And there was like this VIP dinner first. The moment we got off the cruise, we drove to Kilt's place. And the dinner that Ashley and Brett cooked, everything smoked to perfection, cooked to bloody blue rare, unseasoned, unsalted. It was my dream meal. And thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Brett. If you guys are watching, you guys are the best cooks ever. And the first thing that Brett and Ashley did when we arrived was they literally sprinted to Max and hugged him.
Oh.
They just love Max so much. I'm honestly a little jealous. Okay. And they were just hanging out the whole night. But another great meetup. Just another example of so many awesome carnivores connecting and getting together and having a great time. So I highly recommend in-person meetups of any sort hosted from anyone in the community. There's just so many now. All right. Okay, Greg. So he didn't get his question answered last time. If you don't mind typing it in the chat so we can read your question. I see it. For anyone, can drinking decaf coffee hurt my results? Let's start with Raymond on this.
Okay. Drinking decaf coffee, can it hurt your results? The question is what is decaf doing to you? That'd be the one thing that I would ask. But I wouldn't eliminate it first. I would use it and just use it after your meal, after a good carnivore meal. And later on, when you start noticing that you don't want it anymore as much or you don't have the headaches, go ahead and give it up for a month. And then you'll notice whether you had extra benefits from it or it didn't do anything for you. So then you can decide to return or go forward with without decaf from there on.
What are your thoughts, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, so during this recent oxalate dump, I did have a couple of coffees trying to get. Oh, I didn't realize it at the time until Alyssa told me. She goes, "Coffee doesn't have oxalates, and it's got to be tea." So, but I did have two coffees during that time, and it definitely messed with my hunger hormones, I think, because I ended up under eating and I wasn't craving fat during that time. So I did notice that, and I noticed that my fat cravings went up, and my appetite opened up a little more just within days of getting rid of the coffee. So I can definitely see what you mean. I didn't notice it before because I'd quit coffee right at the beginning. I quit all things right at the beginning of carnivore, but now I feel the difference. And so I do think, I don't know about decaf because I never drank decaf, but I do know that coffee does seem to block your hunger hormones, something it's covering it up or whatever. And it's so that was a case for me for sure.
And then Phil, what are your thoughts?
Oh, he's frozen.
He's
Phil
frozen,
is
yeah.
frozen.
No worries. I don't drink decaf, but I do drink regular coffee. So, Greg, I think if you love your decaf as if it's a ritual or you just love how it makes you feel, one thing that you can definitely test out is what I learned from Raymond, which is have your coffee decaf or caffeinated after eating, whether that's breakfast, lunch, maybe not dinner because that's already nighttime. Try your best to start your day with a nice hearty breakfast, then drink your caffeine or your tea, and then see how you feel. Because for most carnivores who try this tip, you get more stable energy, you don't get the mood swings, and you definitely do not hurt your hormones and cortisol levels. So you don't have the jitteriness as well, even if it's decaf. Okay, so try that.
I'm going to throw up, we got a few super chats building up down here. I'm going to go ahead and start throwing those up real quick.
Sure. Caleb is here. Hi, Caleb. Let's first celebrate Caleb's first ever live stream interview. He recently went on a fellow carnivore's channel, shared his story, shared his passion for carnivore. Caleb is 16. And whenever I come across teenagers or young carnivores who are also willing to share their story and spread the word, this is who I'm rooting for the most, is our future generation. So shout out to Caleb.
Awesome.
His channel is listed right there. How would y'all cook a turkey, like a whole one? I would not cook it because it's too much work. How about you, Todd?
Too much work. Thank you.
I only like turkey one way anymore because I don't really care for turkeys. If I cook a turkey in the oven, it's going to the dog. I'm cooking it for the dog. But otherwise, if I cook a turkey, and I want to do it carnivore style, it's kind of involved, but I take just the turkey breasts and I butterfly them, and then I peel the skin off the turkey, and I put the skin down, and then I put like herb butter on top of the skin. Then I put the pounded out butterflied turkey breasts on top of the butter on top of the skin, and then I take and put cream cheese. Well, then I put prosciutto down, and then I put cream cheese down. And then I roll it into a log, and I wrap it tight with cheesecloth, and I put it in a vacuum seal bag, and I sous vide it to 140 degrees. Then I take it out, and then on that cheesecloth, I replace it with dry cheesecloth, and I put that herb butter on the outside, and then I put it on broil, and it crisps up the skin on the outside, and then you slice it. And it's like a pinwheel with a bacon profile. With cream cheese in it, and it's really juicy, and that's the only way I've ever liked turkey. The rest of it is just dry, lean, tasteless junk.
Yeah.
That's my humble opinion, though.
Oh, Phil's back.
can you hear us?
Hello. Okay, great
Hey,
tips.
Phil.
Wait, Todd,
Yeah.
do you inject with butter at all or fat? Do you inject?
I have injected. I didn't do it on this one because you're wrapping it in butter and it actually bathes in butter inside the sous vide bag, so it stays extra buttery. But I have injected it. I guess the second best turkey that I've ever had was actually injected with Frank's Red Hot buffalo sauce, and we injected a turkey that way, and then we cooked it in the oven, and that was actually pretty good too. Frank's Red Hot injected turkey, but yeah.
Best tips to cook turkey will clearly come from Todd. So we are good on that one. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, we all want Todd as our chef. I agree, Simon. Target prime rib. I'm feeling much better. Oh, we did this.
We did
Yes.
this one.
Oh,
Thank you, Thomas.
wonder how that one got in there. Okay.
Okay. All right. Caleb again. Why is there so much less activity on the Butter Club? All right. The Butter Club is my second carnivore community that I created just a few months ago. And I created this specifically to help teenagers and also those in their 20s up to like 35. And I created it because I saw a lot of families and younger carnivores in the steak and butter gang requesting for, hey, like we don't really want to be doing Zoom calls or hanging out with our mom and grandparents in here. Can you do like a separate community where we can just have some privacy? So that's why I created it. And to be honest, life got in the way, honeymoon got in the way, World Carnivore Month got in the way. And so I just haven't been able to be consistent with keeping engagement up, because typically I need to be active in there as well. I need to be scheduling things. I do want to go back. I really do want to go back and schedule free Zoom calls. Thank you for the kick in the butt, Caleb. I will write this down and make it happen. Okay, just for you. Thank you, Caleb.
You're getting called out.
That's why I love him. All right, Nav, welcome back. Can oxalate dumping go on for a while? Carnivore for 8 months. I experienced dandruff, crystals coming out of the eyes in the morning. Now that is a very, very clear sign that you are oxalate dumping, Nav. Eczema, dry skin on the hands, and foamy urine. That's like the go-to textbook symptoms right there. Yep. Can that be oxalate dumping? 100,000%. Yes, it is. And can oxalate dumping go on even if he's 8 months into carnivore? It did for me. Okay, it did for me. I would say it was the worst my first 6 months of carnivore. And those who know my story, I was vegan for 6 years. And a lot of ex-vegans turned carnivore or current vegans, they hear me talking about the oxalate dumping and it gives them a lot of clarity. So I always try my best to bring it up, because a lot of people get scared, they get confused. Well, why are my symptoms getting worse? Why am I feeling worse? And why are there crystals coming out of my eyes and pores? I had crystals out of my eyes, just like Joyce in the chat, to the point where in the morning when I woke up, I couldn't even open up my eyes because they were so sticky, ooey and gooey, tons of gunk and crystals just trying to fight its way out of my body. The detox is real, especially if you ate a vegan, vegetarian diet filled with foods that are high in oxalates. Raymond, what are foods that are high in oxalates?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I mean, believe it or not, even pepper has very high oxalates for the small amount of content that it has. So, but there's any of your leafy greens, spinach mainly, it's going to be one of the worst. All of the healthy greens is what they consider, high oxalate, which is strange. Chocolate is actually chock full with a lot of oxalates in it too. So because of the size and amount, so it's a bad idea to have any of those. But when you're oxalate dumping, they say to have a little bit of oxalate like black tea. But to me, I rather go without all of it. And I want to say, Nav, I am 7 years in and I still have, every now and then I'll get flare-ups of dandruff. Every now and then I'll get little acnes, and still the calc of my eyes, but I don't get foamy urine anymore. That's a thing of the past. So I feel like there is hope. When Sally said, Sally K. Norton, when she said that it can be up to 10 years, now I'm like, okay, I believe it.
Oh, she said that? Up to 10 years?
Mhm.
Wow. That's insane.
Well,
Well,
I can tell you that
yes,
I'm
you need to talk about that.
26 months into carnivore, and I've been going through the last 3 months of the worst oxalate dump that I've ever gone through. And I've gone through this, my third one. The first two were easy compared to this one. This one threw everything at it. And I did have to start drinking. I take one of these green teas every day now because it's about all that I
bad?
can.
Wow.
I slept in this chair last night. This chair right here, because I can't lay down because my back and hip hurt so bad because they're so swelled up. It's pinching a nerve when I lay down.
Oh.
So I slept in
in the
this stupid chair
joints.
last night. Yeah, and when I take that, and it's crazy because the pain went from kidney stones right there on the left side to my left knee, and now it's in my left hip and back, and it's just and it's causing swelling, and it's absolutely that because when I drink this tea, it goes down to about 80%, and then after about 12 hours, it spikes back up, and it's just it's absolutely crazy. It's just and what I think it happened, where I got all my oxalates was from black iced tea because I would drink a gallon of black iced tea a day for I don't know 15 years plus, and I didn't realize that black iced tea had a ton of oxalates in it. So I think
Heck,
that's what
I believe any of these processed foods must have had a lot of oxalates in it. I used to be a big sweet tea drinker, so that could be from there too. But I wouldn't doubt that processed foods probably worse than a vegan diet. So
100%.
I mean, oxalate wise,
yeah, whatever it is, it's definitely real. And I don't know. I would have said through the first two, I would have said, yeah, Raymond's right. You don't need the tea. But after this one, I need the tea's like a lifeline. Like I need the tea. It's crazy.
To not be hurting as much. It really does make a difference. So I'm seeing some confusion, Todd, that there are people wondering, well, if there's green tea, if there's oxalates in green tea, why are you drinking it?
Because what happens is your body starts making oxalates. And so if you don't get oxalates when it goes through an oxalate dump, your body starts producing oxalates. And so you need a tiny bit of oxalates. And this isn't my information. This is from Alyssa, who went through Sally K. Norton's book on oxalate dumping and the protocol. But apparently your body makes oxalates. And the reason why she's suggesting green tea is because it's the least inflammatory, lowest oxalate way of getting a little bit of oxalates. And if you have just a little bit of oxalates, it slows down this massive production and dump of the oxalates in your body. So that basically it'll slow down. It's like a flare up. It's kind of almost like I guess it's kind of like an an immune system response like autoimmune people have. And it slows down the flare up so that you aren't just getting beat up with inflammation and oxalate, attacking the oxalates. So
yeah. I wish Alyssa was on our live tonight, but Alyssa, if you're watching, please come to our next live stream. We need you, especially for oxalate dumping.
She's in the chat. Hi, Alyssa.
Oh, okay. Alyssa's in the chat. If you don't mind sharing your tips, Alyssa, if Todd missed anything, we have a lot to learn from your experience. Okay. Awesome.
All right. And
perfect. Let's keep going.
All right, we got Phil is having internet problems tonight, and so he just texted. He was trying to get back on, but his internet just went down. So
I can answer this. Yeah, happy to, because we talked about this in the cruise meetup. There were 2 carnivore Q&As on the cruise, and I learned a lot from Dr. Wiedemann as well as Fred Hahn, who was the other expert. And so this was asked: why does A1C creep up on carnivore? Somebody was experiencing it. And the first thing that they said was, well, why are you measuring your bloods when you just started carnivore? You should not be obsessed with the numbers, specifically your lab work. You should be trying to be on a carnivore diet 90 days, if not 6 months, before you worry about testing your blood and looking at the numbers that show up on the lab work. A1C tends to creep up, though, if you are stressed out, if you are eating even a little bit of carnivore carbs, and there are some that you can still get carbs: cheese, heavy cream, straight up milk, there's carbs. A1C will need a couple months to go back down for the inflammation in the body. So Cisse, if you don't mind sharing, how long have you been carnivore? And I think that will give us a better idea of why maybe the A1C is creeping up.
Let
Go
me-
ahead, Raymond.
Let me on this too. So there's also been this theory that our red blood cells as carnivore has lasted longer, and that kind of skewers some of the A1C results. I don't know, but that's the prognosis that I keep hearing the most. So there is a little more to the story.
Yeah, definitely.
All
We'll
right.
circle back to CC.
Yes.
Kelly, welcome to the live stream. 5 months carnivore, eating protein, fat, enough calories. I sleep well and I have no stress. So, what can I do to stop this hair loss? Okay, thank you for all the details of what you are currently doing, what's going well. And clearly, you're still having the hair loss, 5 months carnivore. My first question for you, Kelly, after reading this is, did you have any period of time where you put a lot of stress on the body? Because we bring this up every single live stream because hair loss is asked all the time. Telogen effluvium. If someone in the live can type it out correctly in the live chat, look into telogen effluvium. What is it? It's basically where your hair reacts to a period of stress. And this reaction happens weeks after that phase of stress. Okay. I experienced it myself. Actually, when I was on a vegan diet and also transitioning into carnivore, my hair took a couple weeks before it stopped falling out in gobs. And then I continued to stick to carnivore, eating plenty of protein, tons of fat. And eventually I got baby hairs. My hairline started to fill in again. So as a pianist, I would always put my hair up in the tightest ponytail. I don't even know why I did it. I guess it just looks cooler on stage. But I was just trained to put my hair in like a ballerina tight ponytail, and that didn't do my hair loss any favors either. So my hairline was starting to recede, but within just like a year of carnivore, hairline is back. I still to this day have baby hairs. Todd, do you want to show your baby hairs?
I don't know if you can see it, but it's terrible. But I have peach fuzz all over this
Yeah.
shiny
nice.
dome. It's
Yep, I can
terrible.
see it. Yep.
Yeah, it's
Tiny.
it's unsettling, but it is coming back. I give it hope that I won't look like a, I don't know, like I'm going through radiation or something.
But how many years did you struggle with no hair growth?
Oh, I haven't had hair since I was 18. So I mean, 23 years, and so I don't have hope that it's all going to come back, because it'll surprise the heck out of me if it does. But just the fact that those hair follicles that hadn't grown hair in 23 years that are trying like heck, that's pretty incredible to me.
That is. And then also talk about your eyebrows growing back.
Yeah, my eyebrows. So I had about 1/3 of my eyebrows were missing, which I found out that was from hypothyroidism, big sign of hypothyroidism. But yeah, they completely grew back. I didn't have any of this before.
Yeah, the
It was
ends.
gone. Yeah,
Right.
the ends just were gone. I was like, what is going on? I had these little tiny little brushy nubs on, right here. It looked like I was a cartoon character with just those little two angry pieces of eyelash or eyebrow on there. But it grew back. And so I don't know. It's incredible. It's so good. And it makes sense. And it's like hair and skin come back after 3 to 6 months, because they're, hair and skin is always rejuvenating, and fingernails, right? These are things that are always growing and rejuvenating. And so if you put if you put good nutrition in and building blocks in, 90 to 120 days, you won't believe how much better everything heals up.
That's right. That's right. So Kelly, please, Raymond.
Sorry. I want to ask you, the question to really look at is, I see you say you're eating enough. Okay. If you're not eating 3 meals a day, I would encourage you to do this. Remember, eating enough through the carnivore journey, even though you're thinking you're eating enough, sometimes it's still not enough if you're having hair loss.
Yep.
Go ahead, Bella.
I'm so glad you said that. And that's exactly what I was going to touch on. Because Kelly is 5 months into carnivore, that's a little bit odd that the hair is still not growing back or the hair loss is still not stopping. So I agree with Raymond. Try 3 meals a day. Really try to flirt with pushing your body to eat enough. Eat more than you think that you can. And then see how that affects your hair. Do you have to force yourself to eat sticks of butter like me? No. But I will say, doing a high-fat carnivore diet, has given me amazing hair growth, really fast growing, strong nails. Everything is just better and more ideal when it comes to being a female in that sense, when I am eating a high fat carnivore diet. So, first thing, push the protein. Eat more protein, and you can do so by eating 3 meals a day rather than forcing it all in one meal or two, right? And then do try to up the fats as well. It goes hand in hand with healing and also hair growth. Keep us posted, Kelly. Thank you.
So,
Well, she has something else to follow up.
oh,
I'm getting
Let's
about
see.
2,500 calories a day.
Oh, okay. That doesn't really. Okay, so I'll just start with this, and then I'll pass it off to Raymond. When it comes to calories, some of the most mind-blowing stuff that I have learned and honestly had to unlearn after going carnivore, one of the most mind-blowing is calories are just not the same on a carnivore diet specifically. And I feel like I have a good representation of what calories mean and what they can do to the body because I was vegan for 6 years. I was eating about 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day as a 5'10" young woman. And yet I was puffier than I am now on a carnivore diet, noticeably puffier. I wish I had a before and after, but you can see it, on my channel in my videos all the time. The puffiness, the inflammation, down to the weight on the scale. Why was I so much heavier on a vegan diet, eating such little food? And then I go on carnivore and I'm eating upwards 2,500 up to 4,000 calories. And I am leaner than I ever have been. Hair is growing great. So I challenge you, Kelly, to not obsess about calories, how many you're eating, how many you should be aiming to eat. Raymond, what are your thoughts?
I love what you're saying, Bella. See, that's the thing too. A lot of people don't understand meal timing and why we said 3 meals a day. If you're eating 2,500 calories a day, all in one sitting, that can be problematic. I like to say you're eating too much and you're eating too little at the same time, and that's dangerous. So spreading it out throughout the day, will you want to eat more? Find out. What is the amount that your body's really calling out throughout the day? Now, usually what stops everyone is like, oh my God, if I have extra, I'm going to gain weight. But you just had heard Bella. She ate 4,000 calories and her waistline looked better. Her physique looked better. She felt better. It's not, if you can, take out that scenario of weight loss because you need to ask yourself this question. What's more important, your hair loss or your weight loss?
well, and here's
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing too about calories on carnivore, like you're saying. So, if proteins is a very versatile piece of nutrition because it can be broken down to amino acids and broken down to glucose, but it's actually a building block. You can make muscle out of it, right? And if we have to eat, let's say, a gram of protein for our body, right? Let's say that you need 150 grams of protein. Well, that right there at 4 calories per gram of protein is 600 calories that's going to be used just for building blocks. That's never going to be broken down into fuel anyways. And then like Damon was explaining the other day, because he's having this kind of epiphany, some of the extra protein, even if you use extra protein, it has to be broken down through the process of gluconeogenesis, which burns up like 2/3 of the calorie through the metabolic process of breaking it down through gluconeogenesis. So you're getting, maybe you could even say half, right? Yeah. So it's like, it's so incredibly, this is why I don't really think that you can get fat on carnivore unless you're eating a ton of cheese. Like,
Right.
I think it would have but on meat, I don't think you can gain fat. I really don't.
So true. Unless you are dealing with hormone imbalance. I will say that. And that's something I have seen time and time again with women, especially with wrecked hormones and a broken metabolism. Is there hope to heal it? 100% there is hope to heal it. And I've seen it happen day after day. So it's about where you are in your journey, Kelly, and also what you are willing to do when it comes to eating more, upping the protein, upping the fat. So whatever Todd said just now, where he was saying when you eat tons of protein, even excess protein, your body will be burning a lot of energy to turn that through the process of gluconeogenesis. This is exactly why I'm glad he shared that, because this is why I feel like the more that I eat on carnivore, the leaner that I get. I don't get it, but it happens. And it is happening to me as I go into my 6th year of carnivore. This should give so many women hope that you can absolutely let go of the portion control, the counting the calories, the cutting down the portion sizes and feeling cold, hungry, and tired. Just don't even bother. So keep us posted, Kelly. We can seriously go on and on this topic. It's great.
That's awesome.
Hi, Gunther. I have a slow metabolism due to daily caloric deficit for 9 years. To fully fix my metabolism, should I eat at a daily caloric surplus or eat at caloric maintenance? If surplus, how much of a surplus? What perfect timing, and such a great question. Very nuanced. Let's start with Todd.
I think that the idea of calories on carnivore, like here's my main problem. Yes, calories mean something, but it's like 5% of the equation, and it's almost not even worth dealing with, because once your body's hormones and signals work its way out, you're going to self-regulate anyways. Your body's going to do what it needs to do. But the reason why I'm saying that is because what does it even mean to be in a calorie surplus or deficit? Like, so you said it right here, and this is a really interesting comment, because your metabolism is low, which basically means you get fantastic gas mileage. You're getting a lot of mileage out of the calories that you do take in. For you to heal your metabolism, you're going to get worse fuel mileage. You're going to burn up more calories doing less, right? And you're going to feel better. So how do you even gauge what your calorie surplus versus calorie deficit is when your metabolism is changing, right? Exactly. You can't think of it that way. That's why Raymond created the priming protocol that works so well to heal your metabolism, because none of us have a magic 8-ball that can figure out what your metabolism is doing at what day to make sure that you're in a 5% surplus. And that whole mindset is silly, to think about. What you just have to do is you have to eat carnivore foods like Raymond's protocol and SBG gang until you're, stuffed basically. And he has a calendar to basically heal your metabolism and make sure that you know what it's like to be fed again and open up your appetite. And that's what really heals it. And so the idea of trying to find a calorie surplus or deficit on a metabolism that's changing the efficiency of calories is absolutely, it'll just drive you crazy. Don't do it. Throw that away.
Bravo. Well said.
I love how you said that, Todd, because I mean, how do you even know what happens? Like if you start eating, like you start doing the priming and your appetite opens up. Well, then what just happened with that calculation that you had? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. But you know what? We all have a gift where our bodies will tell us certain things, but we have to be willing to stretch it out. What is it to be comfortably stuffed for 3 meals? And how does your body react to it? Can you learn from it? And what we've noticed, just like Todd, you start getting hungrier. Mm-hmm. And when you get hungrier and you're eating more carnivore foods only, then you start noticing you're digesting better. Yeah. Your digestion better means that you're actually absorbing it more. It's usable stuff to your body all of a sudden. Meanwhile, before, if you're keeping just enough, it just keeps your body saying, hey, I'm at this starvation danger mode. I'm not going to do any extra because I'm not even going to heal myself. Why would it? It's in danger mode. It's in starvation mode. We want to get out of that.
That too. 100%. When you said, yeah. So when Raymond said, when you eat more, you most likely will, your digestion will improve. You will feel hungrier. The appetite opens up. That reminded me, a good handful of women came up to me on the cruise and also at the Tampa meetup asking me, hey, Bella, I know that you eat a lot of food, because clearly I think I'm the only female sharing my meals and shamelessly eating tons of food. But they come to me and ask me, I'm scared and I'm worried that my appetite is bigger and I cannot seem to control my hunger. What am I supposed to do? Like, what do I do? And I'm saying, you should be celebrating. You should be right embracing that hunger, because whatever is happening right now with your appetite, feeling hungrier, this is the best thing you could possibly have happen after going carnivore. Your metabolism is waking up. That's how I see it. So waking up, it is starting to rev up as well. Shout out to Dr. Kills when he says, treat your body like it's a Ferrari. Why would you feed it trash and not enough food as well? Feed it the best food, fuel, diesel. Is it gas or diesel for a Ferrari? I have no idea. It's gas. Okay. Feed it the best gasoline, which is meat and butter and eggs, and make sure you give it enough gas, right? Otherwise, your body's always going to be at half function. So hopefully that's enough for you to think about. Gunther, I know you're here all the time and you come back to our lives. So keep us posted.
Absolutely.
Scott Everson is here. I got to hang out with him in Tampa. Hello, hello, and thank you for joining our live. Honored. And thank you so much for that. Scott wants to say thank you for sharing your stories and giving me hope for continued recovery. Great coaches and group. We love you, Scott. Now it's my turn to give him a shout out. Let me just show this again. Scott was supposed to be on this cruise, but he had to miss it. But you need to know that Scott does some of the best retreats, carnivore retreats. And it is, Raymond will be there. I will be there. Todd, are you going?
I don't think so. I'm going to try to, because it's in May, right?
Correct.
I'm going to try to. I might even buy one. If there's still a ticket left, I might try to buy one of the last ones just in case I can make it there. But I'm going to see. I'm going to try really hard, but right now my schedule, because that's going to be just before. Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's totally fine. But there are also going to be, I think, like a panel of 40 carnivores. Fantastic. Dr. Barry's going to be there. Nisha Barry, Dr. Baker, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Wiedemann, like literally all of your favorite carnivore advocates, doctors, voices will be there. And I'll link it in the live chat right there. Okay. Now, I don't know if there are still tickets. So I'm sorry if the tickets are sold out. But you should know that he does it every year. So you can go ahead and sign up for the next year or stay up to date with his newsletter. Thank you, Scott. Can't wait. All right. Nav, I eat as fatty as I can, but I still struggle with cravings. Tips. You're probably not eating enough fat then. Even though you feel like you're eating as fatty as you can, there are like really smart tips and tricks to up the fat without feeling like you're eating tons of fat. My best tip is eating cold fat. You guys have seen me chomping on cold sticks of butter. I don't know if you guys know it's cold. It's straight out of the fridge, if not frozen. And that really does make a difference in helping yourself eat more without feeling nauseous and sick of the fat. Raymond, what are your tips to eat more fat?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, there is a point, as good as fat is and as important as it is, if you've tried that where you added extra fat and you're still feeling actually especially cravings for sweets, typically you have a backlog of too much fat. And then that's where I would say go about 3 days of kind of leaner meats and see it kind of go away. I've had too many clients do that because they kept on thinking fats is so beneficial. And I agree it is, but they pushed it too far where their bodies just needed a catch-up time. So I would get them to get a little bit of lean and they notice that, oh, wow, my cravings are totally gone. And then when their body's asking for the fat again, I tell them, go ahead and resume.
Great tip that you just shared there. That's so true. A lot of new carnivores, they can't even catch up to the amount of fat that they crave. Prime example here. Yeah. I was craving for so much butter, yet it was going right through me. So I do try to talk about poop as much as I can. It's one of my favorite topics. Because it's so telling about your digestion, your adaptation, like where you are in your healing journey. So if you find that you have loose stools, lots of diarrhea, it's just a sign that your body's not ready to digest all of the fat that you're eating. Not yet. Doesn't mean you can't have high fat forever. So give it time. Swap out all of the melted rendered fats for cold, solid, hard fats. Really does make a difference. And like Raymond said, it could just be you need more time, basically. And then protein. Nav, eat more protein. Check out my recipes at Bella's Cafe. It definitely helps Max stay on track with his animal-based eating. He's not strict carnivore, so yet he still gets sugar cravings, okay? So I try to make him strict carnivore, delicious treat meals, desserts, all of that. That could help you. Thank you, Nav.
So
Cool.
Elmore gave us a super chat or a super sticker. Thank you so much. And then he had a comment to back it up.
Ooh. Hi, Elmore. Great to see you too. Yay. If you have a question, we'd love to help out. If
Absolutely.
not, good to see you.
Just going.
Can I give a shout out to Papa Carnivore? Have you guys met Papa Carnivore before in person?
I've talked to him a lot in the chat, but I've never met him in person.
He was at the Tampa meetup. So I got to meet him in person. Very tall, very healthy looking guy. And so warm and welcoming and social. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to meet you, Papa Carnivore. Thank you for joining.
That's awesome. I'm pretty sure we got this one, didn't we?
Yes.
Just want to make sure. Didn't want to miss it. All right, I'm going to go back to the top. That's all the super chats. I don't remember if you were.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
I can pick up where we left off. So this one, Coach Raymond. What are your thoughts on eating sourdough bread while on carnivore? From Michelle.
My thoughts is don't do it. Sourdough. I mean, okay. So many things at play here. With wheat, yes, I understand there's people that can get their harvested grains spelt and all that to make sure that it's non-GMO and all that good stuff. And then they can grind it down and mill it and soak it and make it into a whatever healthy version where it even takes away some of the gluten. Honestly, that would wreck my gut. Now, two things that it does for me. For me, my gut can't process it, and then it actually enhances cravings. So if I have one, I'm going to have more. I'll probably eat that whole loaf in one sitting and pay for it. So is it worth it on carnivore? Not for me. Now, saying that, is there an option that you can do that can make like a carnivore bread? Yes, we have carnivore bread recipes that you could look into to even give it like a little sour taste to it if you wanted to, and try to make a sourdough version of that if you really crave the bread. But avoiding bread is important, I would say, especially early on. Actually, heck, I hate to say this. It just depends on where you're at in the journey, because I'm just letting you know what my journey would entail, and sourdough would not be part of it.
But did you guys know there's carnivore bread now?
That's right. There's carnivore bread. That's right.
You don't have to make it with flour and gluten and sourdough starter. You can just make it like Courtney Luna makes it. I see Scott shouted her cookbook out. I have it and I use it all the time. It is such a good cookbook with lots of delicious recipes, including her viral carnivore bread. So and I made a video making her recipe, by the way, so you can watch it if you want to do a little demo alongside me cooking it. Very, very good bread. Highly recommend. So check that out, Michelle. Thank you. Let's keep going. Okay, Christy Tanner, new carnivore, wondering if I can drink drinks like 0-calorie drinks, but are artificially sweetened. Todd, you're good for this.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. New carnivore, wondering if I can drink drinks, 0-calorie drink, but are artificially sweetened. Oh, yes. Don't drink them. Don't drink them. So they're super addictive and they're so bad because they wreck your gut microbiome, and you need a healthy gut to be able to feel your hunger hormones, your real cues, because this is what's basically happening. You know, I'm just speaking from my experience, but my number one addiction was the 0-calorie soda addiction, which was crazy. But and it was the hardest addiction I ever had to break. But you know, when you're coming off of the standard American diet, you don't even really know what hunger is. You think you do because you think you get hungry, but what you don't even know is you're actually having like a drug craving. You are looking for a dopamine fix most of the time. And that's why that stuff ties in. This is just my opinion, but that's why it ties into people saying that you have an eating disorder and you might need to see a therapist and all this stuff, because you're using these dopamine fixes to heal chemical imbalances and to self-medicate these symptoms of depression and anxiety and fatigue and all this nonsense. But those are addictive cravings, not hunger. And you have to be able to break all that before you know what hunger really is. And in order to feel what hunger really is, you have to distance yourself from the addictive cravings. And then you also have to heal your gut microbiome, and you also have to heal your hormones. And you can't do that if you're having all those artificial sweeteners. It makes it so much more difficult. And it keeps 100%. That, because you don't know if you're having true hunger cues or if you're having an addictive craving, when you're always keeping that sweet, whatever, that sweet craving alive,
Exactly. And just because I have all of these carnivore conversations fresh in my mind from the past 9 days, I met this amazing carnivore couple. They just started a few weeks in. In fact, they found my Instagram just 3 weeks ago, and they joined the cruise quickly after following, just to ask me a ton of questions, which I love. I literally sat next to them at dinner to help this couple out with their newbie questions. And these types of conversations give me such a good idea of what typical new carnivores struggle with and are confused about. Their biggest question was, yes, Scott's experience is excellent. Their biggest question was, how come you guys keep talking about the cream in the coffee, the sweetener in the coffee? Why do you guys keep talking about it like it needs to be cut out? They couldn't understand. And I was like, well, because when you go carnivore, typically you're trying to escape from sugar addiction, food addiction. And so if you have sweet tastes, even if it's allulose, even if it's stevia, if you have any sort of sweet flavors in your mouth after going carnivore, do you really think your sugar cravings will go away fully? Yes, I've seen moderators on a carnivore diet do well with sweeteners and all of that stuff, but most of us are not moderators. Not because we choose not to be or choose to be. It's because of the way that we were trained with standard American diet foods. It has basically messed up our hunger, our taste buds. You have to cut it out completely if you want to see any progress with your sugar cravings.
Well, and if I can go on a little rant, please. I saw something cool that brought a lot of pieces together for me. There's a guy, I think he's a neurologist. He was on Michaela Peterson's show about a week ago. But he was talking about this, and I talked about this once before, but it brought a lot of pieces together for me. But one of the things was I learned 20 years ago that if you, what from practicing piano and everything, if you do something at least 7 minutes and 20 seconds a day for 21 days, you build a new neurological circuit in your brain that becomes a habit, which I think is what you call like motor or muscle memory,
Yeah.
And it starts to bring it together. But which I always knew that, okay, so that was interesting. And then they said, okay, so how do you get rid of that circuit once you've built it? Well, how you get rid of it is by not stimulating that circuit, right? And so if you're eating those artificial sweeteners, you're constantly stimulating that circuit and keeping it alive, right? Which is why, so that's two things. But I knew both of those. But what was really cool, what this guy said was, and you've heard me say this if you've heard me talk about my story at all, was that I had to build an environment around me to make carnivore the path of least resistance and to make it easier to get carnivore food than it was to order DoorDash to get bad food. And so this guy was basically saying, why is it that we can know the right things, but it seems almost impossible to make ourselves do the right things sometimes when we're addicted? Like, even though we know what we're doing wrong, but it seems like we have this subconscious just urge. And he said the reason why is when you stimulate those new neurological pathways in your brain, and they are the most used, they become the most myelinated. And those most myelinated neurological pathways become the least path of resistance in your brain, and it happens subconsciously. You are fighting an uphill battle so the only way that you can really fight that efficiently is to let them die which is why I've said for a long time, I took this to kind of a part of my faith about the meaning of repentance, which is spending more time looking at what you're turning to from what you're looking away. But essentially it's the same thing, because it's not paying attention to the foods that you're not going to eat. You're putting your emphasis on the foods that you are going to eat. And the reason why I think carnivore works so well is because the other diets are calorie restrictive diets where you're thinking about not overeating. Carnivore is thinking about, I'm going to eat this steak until I'm stuffed and I heal. So you stop thinking about the things that are creating that neurological pathway that's this habit that drives you crazy, and you let it finally die. And you can do that by stop having that sweet palate with those artificial sweeteners over and over again. So I really like that.
So well said. And to riff off of what Todd shared, which was brilliant, it takes time to do that process. So when you overeat, or I don't want to use the word overeat, when you eat as much as you need to kill the cravings, that's going to take some time to reset the taste buds. What I mean by that is my first 6 months of carnivore, yes, I still wanted to eat fruit. I still wanted to eat my favorite dried mangoes from Trader Joe's. But after the 6 months, I no longer wanted it at all. To the point where if you put it right under my nose, served it on a platter, I would be like, what is this? I have zero desire. I don't know why I have zero desire, but it's not there anymore, which is fascinating. And I hear that over and over with long-term carnivores. Not to make you guys feel discouraged that you have to like do it perfectly for a very long time. It's to give you guys hope that one day you will also stop craving for junk and for pure sugar, which is a drug.
And you will. You absolutely will. And that's the thing. That's the big lie. You know, the reason why, think about everybody that's ever, like, this happens in the chew all the time. They go, how long before I start losing weight? How long before I lose 20 pounds? How long before they say that? They say how long. They want a timeline. Why do they want a timeline? Well, because we've all been on calorie restrictive diets before, which I don't care who you are. If you're being honest with yourself, every time you've ever started a calorie restricted diet after the first one, you know that you have a finite amount of time that you can hang on and actually do that with willpower before you break. It's not whether you're going to break, it's when you're going to break and how bad how bad the weight's going to come back on when you do. And so when people come into carnivore, they're still thinking that I can only do this for a short period of time. I did not get to 700 pounds by having an incredible amount of willpower, right? I didn't do this with an incredible amount of discipline. And the reason why this works is because it really does kill those neurological pathways. It really does free you from disordered eating. And it also gives you the carnivore calm. It balances your hormones. And you finally are fine with just feeling better and healing. And weight stops being the number one focus, which oddly enough keeps you from spiking your cortisol and stressing out about it, which oddly enough lets your body heal and you end up losing weight. It's the craziest thing, but it works. It really works.
Yeah. And that's the key part. If it was about willpower, I wouldn't be here right now. There's no way I could have lasted 7 years on willpower. It's just not possible. I literally, legitimately, people think I'm lying. I just don't want any of that crap. Okay. When I look at fruit, it looks like wax fruit. Okay. When I look at a cake, I think that decoration. You know, these don't register to me as food at all. I don't even have memory of the old memories of when I ate and I was all elated. I mean, I remember them, but it's so foreign to me, like it was another person. And this will happen to everyone as long as they take their time and stay in this diet long enough.
Right. Because what else are you going to do? Right. You're going to continue to be an addict of the thing that's killing you and keep getting worse every day. You know, even on your plateaus, even on the days that you might gain some weight and not understand why, because it's body composition and you're gaining bone and muscle and everything that you don't understand. Even on those days, you're still feeling better and you're still healing and you're not getting worse. You know, where I just remember exponentially every month I was so much worse and so much sicker. And so, I mean, I was going downhill so fast that it's a blessing just to stop the descent into, you know, just death and hell, you know, for a lot of us. And so it's so much better. And that's why it really is so sustainable. I know in your mind right now, the idea of only eating, you know, meat and animal products seems incredibly restrictive, but man, it's it's the most freeing thing there is,
Yes.
you know.
And I actually legitimately like my food. What I mean by that, I don't know if you guys remember in the old carb days, I was always thinking, what do I want right after I finish eating? What do I want to eat next? Oh, I don't feel like eating this. Oh, I don't feel like eating that. Like I was bored of all the foods that I was eating. I didn't really care for them, but yet when I was hungry, I would swallow it up.
For sure.
Such a good, like, this is such a beautiful conversation. One of my favorite conversations to have with you guys is the whole, like, how perplex and difficult sugar cravings can be. And it really is so profound, walking the journey of killing the sugar addiction. It's so profound. And I feel like we should do a live stream, maybe one of these days coming up, just focused on cravings, sugar addiction, food addiction, carbs, all of that. If you guys want that, where it's like a focused, dedicated live stream just on that topic, let us know in the live chat. We can definitely make it happen. Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
see so many of you guys in the live chat saying that we met in person at the meetups and the cruise. I love you guys so much. I could cry. This community is so good. And every time I get to share and speak in like whatever event or meetup, all I gush about is how great this community is, because there's nothing else to gush about that I feel like is worth. Sure, I can talk about my vegan to carnivore story, but when it comes to community, you can never over talk about the community aspect. The people that make up this carnivore community are why this carnivore diet trend thing is literally blowing up. If you go on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, right here, I'm sure, what's the Rumble, Todd's on Rumble, X, everywhere. The term carnivore diet is absolutely blowing up. And it's because of you guys buzzing about it, sharing your stories, commenting under all of the awesome carnivore channels. I thank you and I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Amen to that.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Hi, Ava. Carnivore since October and soon after developed gallbladder issues and severe candida infection. I never had to take antihistamine, but now I take it daily. I'm avoiding dairy, fats cause me nausea, and I gained 10 pounds since. Raymond, you've worked with this before.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that you're going through a lot of that. Unfortunately, one of the things that carnivores can do is actually set off quite a wild detox symptom, just depending on your past. And of course, can't handle fats. So you're having gallbladder issues. That means you're just not able to handle the fat, and that's causing a lot of issues in itself. What I can say is it just depends. I would have to talk to you a lot more and get an intake, because remember, even medication does matter during this time. So what you're doing and how quickly you're turning around and getting into carnivore could be an issue for you. You may need to slowly get into it. Bella advises that a lot for some people who have a lot of difficulties. And in your case, I would say that might be the case. Go ahead, Bella.
So with the gallbladder issues and severe candida, my first thought is, are you eating lots of dairy? Okay, so she said she's avoiding dairy. How about the butter? Because butter can count as a problematic dairy if you are lactose intolerant. You might need to do lion diet for a small amount of time, like shoot for 2 weeks of lion diet. What is lion diet? It is beef, salt, water, lamb as well, ruminant meats. This is extremely healing for those with a bout of inflammation, candida infections, anything like that. With fats causing nausea, again, eat it cold. Don't eat it melted and rendered. Any thoughts, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have much problems with this. I did have some candida infection, and honestly, in the gut, and honestly, when that stuff died the most was when me and Raymond were messing around with the amino acids. I don't know what the amino acids did, but man, they really strengthened my gut microbiome. And that is, I really think there's something to this, but that's when I quit chewing. Was after the priming and the amino acids, I lost my taste for chewing. And then, like I told you guys before, but when I found out from those old farmers and ranchers that they plant tobacco on their farm and their farms and ranches for their livestock and their workhorses because it's a natural dewormer, and it'll go in there and kill the bad bacteria, and it creates a good condition for a gut microbiome, a healthy one. So they would rather use the tobacco on their horses and their livestock than they did the regular vet wormer, because the vet wormer would kill good bacteria too, and their livestock would be sick and not feel well for months. Where if they just used the tobacco, and what was crazy is that they would plant it and that the livestock would eat the tobacco when they had a gut problem, but then they would lose their taste for it when they didn't have a gut problem. So my thought is, being that I went from being able to digest, a couple of pounds of meat in about a 7 to 8 hour period, to all of a sudden I was moving that through my system after the amino acids in about 3 hours. Did my gut microbiome get healed through that priming and amino acid process, to where, because that was when I just stopped craving nicotine, kind of like those horses don't eat it when their guts get healthy. So, I think it's something to do with that. So I think my candida actually healed during priming and during and supplementing some amino acids when we were playing with it, to be honest with you.
That's awesome that you guys shared that. Lots to think about, Eva. Keep us posted, please.
Oh, and antihistamine. If you have histamine issues, you may want to go more of a lamb diet too. Lion might be great, but lamb is a lot lower, gentler. So that may be something to look into.
Yep.
I got to go find this to see if there's a
No
question.
worries. While you do that, can I actually give some shout outs here? Because I'm keeping an eye on the live chat. So I want to shout out carnivore coach Lisa Pickard. Sorry if I mispronounced your last name, but Coach Lisa is what she goes by. She was at the Tampa meetup, and I got to know more about her story, her husband's story. I felt her energy. She is just a wonderful, wonderful carnivore. And she's so passionate about all of the best messages. And the way that she communicates is just fantastic. So it was such a pleasure to meet you, Lisa, and definitely check her out. She is such a great source of knowledge.
Yeah, and then super knowledgeable. I met her in Arizona as well.
Oh, yay. And then quick shout out to Galina. I met her on the cruise. So Galina brought her daughter, Paulina. These two beauties were so gorgeous. And the time that I got to hang out with them, I will remember forever. And they live in California, which my family is there. So let's keep in touch. So nice to meet you, Galina, and your daughter, Paulina. Love you guys.
All right, so here's that, and that is for this.
Yay. Okay, Doo-Doo, welcome. Hi, all. I've been carnivore on and off for about 2 years. Been strict carnivore recently, and I've been doing badly mostly. Ooh. I switched from grass-fed beef to lunch meats, and I have been thriving.
Okay.
Wow.
Great.
Which is weird. Yeah, which is weird, because should I not be doing better on grass-fed beef? Any thoughts? This is so interesting, because I could already think of many reasons why he's doing better on the lunch meats. Is that what he called it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is what, prosciutto?
Well, it could be a lot of things. I don't know what kind of lunch meats you're doing, but if you're doing, let's say, like Spam and high fat ones, that's the immediate thing that came to mind, because I don't know what kind of grass-fed meat you're eating, but one of the fillers for some of the cheaper lunch meats is fat, right? And so there might be more fat in those. They might be pumping more fat in them. And then some of it, it's kind of funny how it works out, but some of the processed lunch meats too have a little more organ meat in them.
Yeah, so that's right, because they throw away all those and put it all in there. That's right.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, my thinking with why he or she feels better on the lunch meat is maybe you're able to eat more because it's more palatable.
Right? That's I like that.
Yep. And I learned that from Raymond. He's got all of these little tips and tricks in his belt. He always says, if you can't eat enough or you can't push the line with just plain meats, like, for example, think ground beef patties, steak, eggs, you should be incorporating some processed foods like cheese, lunch meats, prosciutto, your favorite beef sticks even. So I wonder if you're finally eating enough because it's more palatable, therefore you can eat more. That's my thinking. How about you, Raymond?
I love how you're thinking. That's exactly right. So that is one thing that definitely will make it. It'll make it where you're happy to eat. So being happy to eat means you'll eat more. So I can definitely see that change. But really and honestly, that's what this is all about: is experimenting and what works for you. And I want to say, look, I'm glad you found that solution. That's great. Keep it up. If that's what works for you, do that. Now, should things change and you start not feeling as good on lunch meats, I would say go back to like a grain finished type beef and seeing if that works for you well too. Grass fed can be an issue also.
Yes.
So, but switching and trying different things, please do that.
Great. That's great tips. The grass-fed, grain-fed beef difference is totally real because I posted on Instagram. I thought that I was being controversial when I said, why is it that I love grain-fed beef way more than grass, or I should say grass finished,
Right.
grain finished versus grass finished. And to my surprise, most of the comments, like 90% of the comments were like, I'm with you. I agree. I also prefer grain finished.
Mhm.
It is because it's fattier and the flavor is just a little bit.
There's so much behind it. It's fresher, fattier, just everything,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep us posted, Dudu. You're doing great.
That's awesome. And then it's back to the regular chats, and I don't know where he's left off.
I got it. No problem. We are here from Jeffrey. Welcome, Jeffrey. Bella, how long did your oxalate dumping last? I'm looking like a skin picking meth head. Oh no, from all the scratching. 6 or 8 weeks now, trying to avoid drinking tea to slow it down. I want this out. Why are you avoiding the drinking tea? Because maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't. When Todd was showing off his green tea right there, look at the screen, guys. It's so that he doesn't have to suffer and be in pain. So
Yeah,
Jeffrey, go ahead.
It's real. The struggle's real. So definitely just what, and here's another reason too. Try the green tea and see if you get any symptom relief, and then it's oxalate dumping too, and you're not having some sort of food allergy. That's the other beauty about trying the green tea, is that you can zero it in and make sure that it's oxalate dumping too. And then it's not helping you get over it by suffering with it, apparently. So yeah, I would use it to slow it down for sure.
And then let me just quickly answer the first one. Mine lasted noticeably, and there are instances where you don't even know you're oxalate dumping, but you are. So I'll count that in as well. But noticeably, 6 months. 6 months I was dumping. And if you missed it, it was mostly through my eyes, crystals coming out of my eyes, and then my autoimmune skin issues getting worse before it got better. So my psoriasis, inflamed, got worse, itchier, just like you, Jeffrey. And then it started to get better. So you can either take the path of just biting your tongue and pushing through it, or just be like Todd and drink some green tea. Up to you.
For sure. I like this. This makes me laugh. No, I'm not saying to eat tobacco.
Oh my God, no.
I could see how though. Yeah.
For sure.
Or better gut, eat tobacco.
Don't do that, guys. Okay. This is next. Linda, can you eat once a while? Okay, so can you eat some fruits on a carnivore diet once in a while, Raymond?
I mean, it is your journey. It's up to you. What I would do is, if I decided on such fruits, I would limit it to that one meal. And we're talking about, let's say, a banana. Okay, you'd have one whole banana, and then, just don't do it too often. It depends on what you're after. If you think this fruit is going to alleviate some kind of cravings, then that's probably the wrong reasons. The reason I say this is all that's going to do is probably increase cravings. Even though you think, oh, I could do just a little bit, and then my cravings will go away. So that's what I'd like to add. But Todd, what's your thoughts?
No. No. Answer no. The fruit, the fruit is just like the fake sugars to me. It keeps that craving alive. I mean, I'm only speaking from my own experience, but I know that my life is so much better not having to struggle with carb cravings and not having to struggle with cravings versus hunger. I am so happy just having hunger signals and not having weird craving signals, that I wouldn't give that up for fruit ever. No.
Love that. And I'll chime in here. My husband loves eating fruits. So I do get to experience firsthand someone who can thrive eating predominantly carnivore with a side of fresh fruit, preferably lower carb fruits like berries, raspberries, strawberries, maybe no on the bananas every day. And then my husband also loves his refreshing salads, which I don't understand, but he loves it. Yeah, he loves salad.
Like the leafy green salad?
Yes.
Oh.
Like crispy, crunchy, refreshing, cold salad. So I think he needs it for the refreshing aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. But what does Chafee tell him when he sees him doing it?
Oh, Chafee says, "You're a loser." Just kidding. Nobody really does.
He probably does say
That's my
Yeah.
favorite part.
Because we're so close with the Chafees now. But if it were like a client that went to Chafee, he would say, "You don't know how good you can feel if you don't cut it out. Like, just try."
That's right.
Like, he's so gentle with his approach, which is wonderful. But with Max,
I prefer what he tells Max.
Yeah.
Like, you're just a loser. Why are you being a loser?
yeah. So tough love. Sometimes that's necessary. Yeah.
Well, it's hilarious if not necessary. So that's
exactly.
Cool. I got to address this. Apparently, my point was missed somewhat. No, I'm not saying to eat tobacco, and
it is a plant. Just remember that tobacco is
it is. But I was speaking about the relationship between tobacco and horses that do eat grass and plants versus humans. All that I was saying is that I had a bacteria and I had a nicotine addiction that my bacteria in my stomach was likely getting some sort of support for municipally, Yes. But also, if we don't feed it the wrong things, we don't need to eat the tobacco, right? I'm just saying that my body stopped craving it at all. And there was something going on there that was helping my body heal with the plant. Yes. But also was causing all sorts of stuff. I mean, would you get nicotine by smoking cigarettes and get lung cancer to kill off candidas when you could just eat meat and not eat the sugar? No, I'm not saying to eat plants. And that's not a reason to eat plants. In my opinion, if you're craving them, I think that it's a reason to stay away from them until the cravings go away, because you don't want to confuse your hunger signals with cravings in the first place, is what my view on it is. So
I think you could not have been more clear. So thank you.
Right.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's do this one. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Sabrina, thank you. 43 years old. Sabrina's female, started keto in 2020 and then started carnivore in 2021. Stopped dairy. Yep. Congrats. In 2023. POTS sufferer. Any advice? No migraines or panic attacks for almost 5 years. That's incredible, by the way. Congratulations. Bravo. Raymond, what are your thoughts?
Wow. I mean, great. Wonderful. POTS software. So I'm guessing you're probably looking to have children and are unable to. I can tell you we have a coach, Richelle. She is actually pregnant for the second time. So that's exciting. And I believe she suffered, was it POTS that she suffered from, or PCOS? I'm getting confused.
Does POTS, I don't think POTS has to do with fertility. I don't think so.
Sorry, I got the wrong one.
It's the one where you get a rapid heart rate.
Oh, Olivier has that. That's right. The rapid heart rate. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's when you stand up too quickly and then you have that rapid heart rate. As far as the POTS software, I am coaching a client directly on that, and I have noticed great results so far. Unfortunately, with POTS, fats are going to be so important. So targeting the fats and being able to actually handle the fats, that's another strategy that you need to make sure you get in. So, but great job on all of the benefits you're having. So, and stopping dairy, that's going to help quite a bit too.
Yeah. I think takeaway, Sabrina, to check out and try is upping the fats.
Yes.
Yeah, I think my brother, I don't think he had POTS, but he had symptoms very similar to POTS from MS. And he also had syncope, and the fats especially shout out to Carnivore Bars since he started taking the Carnivore Bars because he had a hard time getting a lot of fat in, and those Carnivore Bars really helped him, and that really alleviated some of those symptoms just from getting more fat in for sure.
Great tip. Jeffrey, definitely oxalate, so it's a follow-up. I can see the white crystals coming out of my skin, and my thought of avoiding tea is I want it to get done all at once. I understand that thought. And that's exactly why I did the same. So
Same.
I don't disagree. Like, if you are hell-bent on doing it that way, just expect a little bit more of a painful journey. Yeah. Which is fine if you're okay with it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Todd?
isn't there also a protocol on that in that book where you use like calcium and a few different things as binders? Because I don't think that it comes out of your body very easy without the binders. So you might look into that. In fact, I mean,
maybe. Yeah.
I can tell you. So, all right.
Perfect.
I haven't read through it yet because I just did this yesterday, but I downloaded her whole book. I ran it through Chat GPT. I said, give me a synopsis of it and what the protocol is. And so it spit it out. And so I have the synopsis and I spit it. And if you guys don't have Chat GPT, I highly suggest you do it. It took that whole book. It pulled out all the information on oxalate dumping in chronological order. Then it pulled out the treatment for it. Then it pulled out all the supplements that you need to implement the treatment. And then it pulled out meal plans that it built to include those into your diet. So it's crazy handy what it can do. And so it can summarize that book in like 5 minutes for you.
That's
to where you can
I'm sure you can even ask it, could you tell me the exact supplements?
Yeah,
necessary?
It does. It will.
Okay.
Yeah, and it'll build it into it'll tell you, like, I even asked it, okay, so out of these supplements that we want, what are the best ones that are the best adhering to the carnivore diet? And it pulled it all out. It said, this is how you would get it on a carnivore diet. Then it goes, do you want me to make you a meal plan? And I said, yes, please. And then it said, do you want me to make you a grocery list for your meal plan? And I said, yes, please. It's awesome.
Very, very good. It's like a mini
pretty
assistant for you.
It is. I named him Larry.
Larry. All right. I love that.
There's my virtual assistant.
Larry, I love it.
Yeah. Well, I know that we have a lot of people who survived oxalate dumping who have done Sally's protocol with the supplements. And there you go. Thank you, Polish Mike. He put it there for us. Avoid calcium citrate for oxalate dumping. Potassium citrate is better if you want to take the supplement, but it's best to just go through the dumping as is. Thank you very much, Mike. There we go. So for your consideration, Jeffrey, keep us posted. All right. Shall we go back? So I see this real quick and I'll do it very, very efficiently from Rob. Hello, Rob. Welcome. Very, very curious why you avoid salt in a lot of your recipes / cooking. Is it just a flavor thing or is there some other reason? So I am a no salt carnivore. I've been a no salt carnivore since day one. And I was inspired by the Zeroing In on Health Facebook group. They are the all-time original carnivore community. I think they're still active, right, Raymond? The Zeroing In on Health. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So this is 6 years ago, maybe even 6.5 years ago when I was trying to educate myself on carnivore. I came across this community and they were saying, look, if you're going to go carnivore, you should really consider eating only whole foods, whole animal foods. Would you consider salt a whole food or a processed food? They think it is very much a processed food, therefore you should not be eating it to need to thrive. So I was very fascinated by that thought. Tried it, felt fantastic, thought it was just a coincidence. So I added the salt back in. And I did high quality salt because a lot of people said, what, did you do table salt? No, I did high quality salt. Every time I add back in the salt, I personally feel very lethargic, low energy. I don't sleep as well. I don't feel well rested when I wake up. I also am puffy under the under eyes. So with these symptoms being consistent every time I eat salt, I know that I am better off being a no salt carnivore. I've met a handful now. Actually, both of these gentlemen here on the panel are no salt carnivores right now. Todd, did you want to share why you are not eating salt?
Yeah, it wasn't even a choice. I just liked Copenhagen. I stopped craving it, and that started tasting unpleasant to me. So, and oddly enough, that's one of the main reasons that I quit eating bacon regularly is because it's too salty now. You know, I don't enjoy it.
Way too
And so, so I don't know why I stopped craving it, but it wasn't a choice. I didn't read a book or anything about it. Just purely by natural taste, I stopped craving it, and I haven't eaten it in probably 8 months now. So
love it.
Yeah, I have
And Raymond, I think you're doing a little salt now, right?
cheese on my cheese. I'll have cheese every now and again, but even then. But really, I just don't like my meat with salt, period. I don't like anything on my meat other than a little sear, of course. But yeah.
Okay. Now, every time we talk about the no salt, I'm just going to catch it before it happens. I already see it happening. People freak out. They're like, what? You're blowing my mind. How can we possibly survive with no salt? If you need salt to survive and feel good, that is your body. That is your N=1 journey, and that is going to work for you. So in no way are we saying you all have to cut out the salt. You all should be, you all have to stop eating salt. It's just really fascinating to come across these very similar stories from meeting so many carnivores along the way. I will tell you guys, 80% of the carnivores, they are heavy salters. My husband included, okay? Most carnivores that I know in person and love included. So it's just so personal. Don't take it the wrong way. Yeah.
What I find amazing is that meat has everything you need, so much so that you don't need even salt on there. It's got everything you need. So to me, that's the real proof.
Yes, but some people, I'll be, the devil's advocate here. Some people sweat it out to the point where they do have to add it back in as an extra. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not even advocating to not have it. I don't even know why I'm not eating it, other than my body doesn't want it, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, I agree. I get the freak out in the chat, because if somebody would have told me 9 months ago that I couldn't have salt, we would have been fighting.
Yeah. I'm like, no way I would ever have my meat with no salt. No way in hell. That tastes nasty. Exactly. That's the worst idea ever. And here I am.
Yeah. 100%. So if you're protecting your salt like it's your baby, there's a reason why you need it. So eat the salt.
Hold on to it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Love that. Okay. Do we go back to the top, Todd?
Yeah. Whatever the last regular one was. Yep.
Got it. Hi, Amanda. So Amanda's a 51-year-old woman on carnivore for 2.5 years. She lost 65 pounds in the first year and nothing since. So she's had a cancer diagnosis. Oh my gosh. Ocular melanoma last year. How does Amanda get unstuck, Raymond?
That's a tough one. So, the question is you going through 65-pound weight loss on the first year is pretty significant. So usually people feel like an expectation of this keep on going until we reach our childhood weight. It can happen, but more than likely that's not how it goes. So it usually goes where you're stuck with that extra little 30 pounds above your expected weight, and for some reason it doesn't move. Best thing I can tell you to do, though, during that time is make sure you are properly nourished. That's the first step. Should you want to, from there, investigate into a little more fasting to see if that will help, then that would be a good strategy to do. Again, with any fasting, it's just like a lifestyle. We need to do this where we can do it often enough, it's enjoyable, and it's part of our life. So that could help you get undone on that.
I will recommend one thing after reading Amanda's question. I'll just put it up. We have a lot of women struggling with weight, and we also have a lot of people going through their cancer journey as well. We've had in the past and currently do in the community. And I don't think there's anything more helpful and encouraging than to connect with a community, to have that tribe that you can lean on, whether it's checking in and being like, hey, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z symptoms. Is this normal? Should I not freak out? To get the reassurance and, the guidance that you need can be really helpful. So check out the Steak and Butter Gang if you guys need a tribe to help you out. All of the coaches are there to help as well, Raymond included, Todd also included. It's just a great family of people who want to help you. Okay, great. The New York, how do you pronounce that? Boricua?
Boricua, I guess. It sounds great. Boricua.
Can somebody share what is Boricua? Is it a name? I feel like it means something. Welcome. What, if any, vitamins would you recommend when beginning carnivore, and what tests should I have my doctor run when starting? Vitamins and supplements, Raymond, what do you recommend?
I actually recommend early on, just like Dr. Baker told me when I first started. He said, get off all of your supplements unless your doctor is recommending any of these. And I did. And he's like, you can re-add it in after 3 months to see which one was beneficial for you or not. And when I added it back in, I realized, well, damn, I'm just pissing out a bunch of expensive vitamins. And so I stopped all of them. But as far as carnivore tests for doctors running as a baseline, you can get a full lipid panel. That's always handy to have before you start carnivore. You can also do a thyroid panel, just the normal standard panels. What I would definitely look into is a CRP, is a C-reactive protein test that shows inflammation in your body. A1C would be one that I would add. So these panels might help you get a good baseline, but I would not repeat that very often. In other words, if you do it after 3 months, things may get worse, and that may scare you off the carnivore diet. So if you know yourself and you're like, nope, it doesn't matter what that data says, it's just data. Yeah. Then you can do it more often every 3 months, but I wouldn't advise anything past 6 months or so, at least past the transition stage.
That's great. And it's easy to just say, yeah, I'm not going to freak out about the numbers. I'm just doing the labs just because I'm curious. But again, over the meetups that I was at the past week, there were a few carnivores that raised their hands, asked questions because they were freaking out or getting worried from their labs. And again, the experts were saying, why are you caring so much about the numbers, right? Why are you getting your labs done when you're still so new to carnivore? So don't get too hung up on the numbers. Get hung up on how you feel. How are you feeling, right? And the symptoms, the healing, all of that. Focus on that. Hopefully that helps. Joyce says, I'm drinking 2 elements a day. Is that okay? Or should I only drink 1? That is so up to you, like, and your body. It's honestly impossible for us to just be like, yeah, you need 1. Mm-hmm. Based off of what, right? You need 1.5. Some people will need 3. I literally met a carnivore coach that needed like 8 in a day.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it. But he said,
you must be working
I need 8 in a day because I'm very active, but I need it because it keeps my energy up. So I guess, what are your goals? How do you want to feel? How active are you? It's up to you, Joyce. Yep. Hi, Greg. Oh, we already did this. Dr. Phil will be back another time. Okay. Okay. I wonder now if insurance will now pick up some of the bill because of the hernia. Okay. Have we heard of insurance helping with that?
That's a good question since they found that out.
I think it'll probably whatever added because of the hernia. Yeah, I think it will. And if it added any days in the hospital, it will, because one of the things that was killing Lindy that we had to, and hopefully I'm not disclosing too much, but I mean, I think it's important because I think it's all stupid. One of the things that was killing her, with the money, trying to save money for the surgery over a year and having a problem, which is why we helped her with a GoFundMe, was because in addition to paying for the surgery out of pocket, she had to have insurance. And so she was paying like $800 or $900 a month for insurance because she still needed insurance, not to cover the surgery, but in case some life-threatening measures were needed to, like if something went wrong and they had to save her life,
right?
She needed to have insurance so that they could put her in ICU and do life. So not only, so she'd already paid in, like, you know, in the waiting period, she'd already paid in, like, you know, I don't know, $12,000 or $14,000 just in insurance. So to do that plus save up $35,000 was just incredible. You know, it's such, that's why it just is so, it's like, what's the insurance for then? You know, it's so ridiculous. They're just absolutely brutalizing her, where when she would go in to go get, you know, to have these consultations and stuff, they would try to sell her the GLP-1s after she'd already lost 520 some pounds.
500 pounds, guys, and they still want her on that drug.
Yeah, and they were still wanting to sell it to her because that was covered by insurance, right? Because of where she came from with the weight. So they're willing to do that drug all day long, but they wouldn't help her get rid of the skin. Then the skin is ultimately getting rid of the skin could have really, it sounds like it saved her life because of the hernia that was being covered up by that massive skin that she couldn't even see because of that stupid massive skin. It almost killed her. And it just pisses me off to no end that we're pretending like that wasn't an elective surgery for, you know, cosmetic reasons. And it's like, no, you can't have, you know, yes, you know, and also I want to say too, because there's been some confusion. When she went in for the consultation, they said she has somewhere between 44 and 50 pounds of skin on her. And that is true. It's just not all right on her stomach, but they can't take it all off at once. Like, even with the amount of skin that she had took off, there was so much bleeding that they were really close to having to give her a blood transfusion today, because when you take off that massive, I mean, 19 pounds of just skin is an incredible amount of skin.
That's unreal. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just monstrous, right? You know? So, I mean, some people, Lindy's height only weigh 150 pounds. So, I mean, that would be taking off like 8% of her body weight in just skin, you know, in a lot of ways. So anyhow, it's incredible. Yeah. So, but I do think the insurance now has to kick in to help part of that, because part of that became a life-saving whatever, you know. We'll see when she gets out. So
yes, we'll hear from Lindy soon, whenever she's ready. Cisse wants to know, I heard testimonials of vegans converted to carnivore, but never heard of a carnivore going vegan. Any comments? I'd love to comment on this. So, because vegan doesn't work and carnivore works. Simple as that. Simple as that. The vegan diet may work the first few weeks if you're coming from a standard American diet, a standard Australian diet, a standard Chinese diet, because you're eating inflammatory foods, seed oils, junk food, fast food, tons of sugar, gluten. When you go vegan, typically you actually do focus on whole plant foods. That's what I did when I was vegan. So I was doing literally nothing but whole plant foods, rice, sweet potatoes, fruits, veggies, beans was my diet, basically. So I initially was like, oh my God, this is the miracle cure for everything. I feel better. My weight is dropping. But then a few months in, things got worse. And things continued to get worse to the point where I was killing myself. So I am interested to know, how long has a vegan been vegan, and how do they feel? How do they look? I'm not trying to make this, you know, about looks or, you know, to be vain, but I do feel like I can see a representation of health by looking at someone. It really should show. You should be having clear skin. You should be having shiny hair, right? You should be having no gut, no bloating. You should be able to look healthy, like clearly. And I see a lot of healthy carnivores. I have seen every single carnivore that I've met. I feel like they exude health, even the ones that are still very much in their healing journey. And what I mean by that is they are social, they are vibrant, they just feel like they're full of life. Whereas the vegans that I've met, typically I meet a lot of vegans who are closing in on their vegan journey, where they are giving up on the vegan diet and they are ready to eat meat again. Typically, those are the vegans that I'm helping and communicating with for good reason. And they are sick, they look sickly, they're malnourished, and their hair is falling out. They look tired and weak. I could go on, and I think I'll just be the only one commenting on this. You don't see carnivores going vegan because carnivore typically cures or helps a lot of the issues that people want to heal. And why would you go backwards? Vegan diet is absolutely backwards.
By the way, I want to make a comment on this. The only time I ever saw the real word using like carnivore is from vegans. They consider anybody who eats meat, sad diet, whatever, carnivore, which I'm like, no. So let's make sure that's clear. When they say carnivore that went vegan, it's not a real carnivore that only eats meat. Usually they're eating the standard American diet.
Seed oils, junk food, all of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're talking about like our definition of carnivore.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not their definition.
If anyone knows anyone, do share, because I personally cannot name a single one. I can name an endless list of vegans turned carnivores, though. Most of them are close friends of mine. Okay, let's keep going. CB Genesis, welcome. Overcoming an inability to tolerate butter and ghee on carnivore. So tips on overcoming that. Todd, you have good tips.
Yeah, I mean, definitely eat it slow and cold. No rendered fat. That definitely is the biggest thing. And then even at first, if you can't stomach it, if you freeze it, it goes down a lot better. You can even break it into little tiny bite-sized pills worth of butter or ghee or tallow, whatever your fat is. Tallow also works really good. You can take in, I personally found out, I don't know, about 8 months into carnivore that I could handle things that have been pickled or fermented a lot better. So one of the things that I started using that would help me get over palate fatigue or anything like that with fat was I would use Tabasco and mix it in with tallow, because Tabasco is vinegar based. Yeah, and that really flavored the fat, and it also helped my stomach emulsify it a little bit. So I'd use it as a steak dip. So whipped tallow with Tabasco really worked good. But just a little bit at a time, and then your gallbladder will start producing more bile, and your stomach will be able to handle the fat better. And then once it does, you're going to start craving it. Your body will open it up, because we pretend we have this thought in our head that we're born with taste buds and we like the things we like and we don't like the things we don't. And it's not true. What happens is we program our taste buds to unfortunately in standard American diet, we program them to like a drug, and we want this endorphin fix in our brain. But when you go carnivore, it takes a little while, but you reprogram those taste buds and they start wanting the things that are healing your body. And one of those things is butter and, butter, fat, however you like to consume it. And you will start having a taste for it after you get it in there and build up the stomach bacteria.
I knew I got the hot sauce and fat idea from someone on the team. So it's you, Todd, because I made it for Max in a recipe video and he loved it. Really? And that is a genius way to get in the fat, especially if you're coming from like flavor explosion diet.
Yeah.
And so people do find that very, very helpful. So mix your hot sauce, your favorite hot sauce, Genesis, with your favorite fat and eat it where the fat is not melted and hot. That will make it effortless.
If you put the tallow in a bowl and you put your hot sauce in, whip it, and then put it back in the fridge and let it sit up, and it's perfect.
That's awesome. Perfect. Okay. GLB, I have been sort of mini priming from Wednesday afternoon until Sunday evening. I've been fasting Sunday evening till Wednesday afternoon. Anything I need to watch out for that tells me I need to stop doing this? This is interesting because I feel like if you truly understand Raymond's priming fasting protocol, it's not so much you prime for 3 days and then you fast for 3 days, right, Raymond?
Right. No, it's not. Yeah. So you're mini priming from Wednesday to Sunday, and then you're fasting Sunday evening until Wednesday afternoon. Wow, that's not exactly how I planned it at all. But I mean, if you're feeling good on that, that is a true feast and fast cycle. I honestly think this will stretch you eventually, but we'd have to talk. I'd need more details on why you're doing this, first of all. So, Todd, you've done similar kind of little things, right?
Yeah, I did an 84 and 84. What I found is that it wasn't enough time to eat, because the reason why is that an 84-hour fast, and I don't think that that's quite what this is. I was just counting that Wednesday. So Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, you're even going to Sunday evening. So you're eating a little bit longer. So, okay, so it's not quite half and half of the week. But the problem is when you go over, for me personally, when I go over about 48 to I don't know, really 48 to 50 hours of fasting, I do have to refeed slowly when I break the fast because my stomach acid is affected by it. So if you're doing that, the refeed can take a whole day and a half before your gut's ready to actually handle a real meal again. And then that's not leaving you enough time to prime, because that refeed is actually you're still under eating during that refeed. And then it takes, you're not leaving yourself enough time to prime. Now, I'm not advocating for this, but this is why I went a 7 on, 7 off fast when I was doing it, because it gave me much more time to refeed, and then I had to hit it really hard. But I was only doing that for the autophagy to heal my lymphatic system on my legs because I was dealing with so much lymph tissue on my legs. But I personally think that I did 12 of those, and I did end up crashing my metabolism too. And so I think what you need to do is get an SBG and do the priming and fasting protocol, because I think it's much more balanced to not hurt your metabolism. And I think if you are going to do any extreme fasting, you need a community that can help you watch out for the signs, because they do sneak up on you.
I'll speak to that. This is Raymond's program that we're talking about. When people talk about priming, feasting, and fasting together as a unit, this is Raymond's genius and his experience here. And he's used it on hundreds of clients when he first started coaching back in MeetRx with Sean Baker. So he's an OG. Actually, Raymond, when I was on the cruise, so many people were curious about priming.
Really?
Like they wanted to know the details, the ins and outs of it, the how-tos. And you should be so happy to hear that Melanie and our Laura Lynch, oh my gosh, they would not shut up about priming for you.
I love that.
They were so cute, like just buzzing about it everywhere with all the carnivores. And priming always comes up wherever I go for a good reason, because it is really helping a lot of people who need it. So when I was asked what is priming for, I said 2 things. Sugar cravings does a fantastic job at killing that. And then the second is, if you are passionate or curious about fasting, whether it's IF or extended fasting, priming is the best way to set the foundation and make sure you don't wreck your hormones when you do it. So I'm going to just second Todd's thoughts. I think if you are serious about doing the priming, feasting, fasting, learn it from the guy who created it and who does it like for years now. And you guys can join us. We do 30-day challenges every single month. Within each 30-day challenge, Raymond teaches his classes every week. He is so hands-on. He talks to all the members who show up. He answers the questions, and you can access the entire program. So it's not at all like you do a prime for 3 days and then you do 3-day fasts and then you go back to priming. There is a method, a very, very specific method, and he walks you through it. So it's gentle and very gradual and doable. Did I do a good job?
Love it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yay. Okay, so the link to join the challenge is down below in the description, or again, I put the banner up for you guys.
All right. You
Perfect.
just got a couple supers.
Yay. Thank you. Okay, I wonder what that stands for. HOTWW. Welcome. Hi, y'all. 2-part. I love it when you guys type that. I can say y'all. I never say it. Bella, it was a pleasure meeting you in Tampa. Oh, it was so nice to meet you. As I mentioned to Bella, 62-year-old mom, 130 days of strict carnivore, coffee, and very little dairy. And I haven't felt better longer than I remember, but I'm doing 1 meal a day, eating 1 to 2 pounds of meat, mainly beef, daily with only 5 pounds lost. I just joined Coach Raymond's CMC challenge, or SBG. I don't know what that means. Hoping to kickstart this new way of life. I think CMC means program. So you're priming, feasting, fasting. Raymond, why don't you take this?
I'm glad that you're joining us. So a lot of the part is I'll love definitely to guide you through this. The important part of going into the fasting portion, once you've done the priming, is to really learn everything you can about your body. So once you learn how to nourish it properly, then we need to figure out what a nourished fast is. What is a nourished fast to your body? Can you fast and actually enjoy it? Is it enjoyable to fast? And also, when it's time to refeed, is that an enjoyable moment also? Both need to be enjoyable. And therefore, it's a long-term lifestyle from there. So you've met the magic between both feasting and fasting, and both of those together is kind of like carnivore and steroids. So I
Sorry,
definitely
Raymond.
recommend it. Yes.
My mistakes. 62-year-old male. For some reason, I read that and just
Oh,
saw
male.
mom.
Okay.
And I looked closely at the photo. I remember you, beautiful couple. Very, very curious about your priming and carnivore. So he's a male.
Okay. Perfect. Well, definitely. So can't wait to see the results. What happens to you through this, and also what kind of fast can you do through these? It's a 3 months course. So one way or the other, you're going to get a bunch of wins that you're like, wow, my body was able to do this. Oh, my body actually transformed into that. So I look forward to seeing your transformation also.
I am so excited that we're going to have another gentleman join and do the program, because we're kind of lacking in the gentleman in SBG, but we do have way more than we used to after Todd joined the team and Phil joined the team. It is typically, though, like even my demographic for YouTube and Instagram, it is heavier on the women. So that's why I keep urging Todd to post more, to talk more about his carnivore experience, because we need more men to be inspired about carnivore. It is quite women heavy.
It is, but I think we're getting there, though. We are seeing more and more men come in, and it's because one of the reasons is because as men, we are a little bit stupid when it comes to getting help. We think, wow, we got this. It's simple. But let me tell you, I was in there too. I did carnivore for 9 months on my own, and I just had hurt I did lose weight, but I also tanked my metabolism, and I was about ready to have to tap out because I was under eating so much. My metabolism was gone, and luckily Limitless Lindy found me and drug me into SBG, and I did priming and healed my metabolism. But beyond all that, what I found, which is what we all have to, I thought that this is, like not to insult anybody's favorite groups or whatever, but I thought it was going to be some sort of kumbaya drum circle thing that we're going to talk about feelings and whatever. And it's just not. It was obviously what I was stupid about was when you get in there and you have all these carnivores that have so much more experience. It's so nice to have all these people that have walked this walk ahead of you and went through these problems, and it's a communal think tank, right? It's
Yes.
crowdsourcing information for carnivores.
It really is.
It really is the best because nobody's in there selling anything. Okay, all the members that are chiming in, they're all there because they did the most extreme thing they could because they had to, because they were sick, and their motivation is purely just getting healthy. And when you think about it, there's not a better environment and more honest environment and nobody's sitting there selling sugar pills or snake oil in there, because everybody is doing this because they've had their taste of all the bullshit, and they need the results. They need to heal because they're at their last leg, and you get to hear this really raw, honest, helpful information of what really works. And in a condensed version from people that have walked the walk. And yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I've been an idiot. Of course, this is where I need to be.
Seriously. I love that. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Raymond.
Also, on that thing about my story, I'm going to bring this up because it's actually a very honest question. He's not trolling or anything. He goes, how come he doesn't look healthy? He's talking about me, and he goes, I love this. He goes, he looks thick.
I love it.
I love it. So, and John, and I see in there, but Rambler, keep me honest. But that's just the thing. I'm not here to talk about weight loss alone. It's great that I've lost 320 pounds. It's great that I'm off oxygen. It's great that I'm going to live. It's great that I'm not dying. But the real thing is all the healing. The fact that my lungs have healed, my congestive heart failure has healed, my depression, anxiety. That is what's most crazy. I got on this diet because I thought I needed to lose all the weight to be healthy. But the suicidal ideation and depression went away. 3.5 weeks in when I was still 700 pounds. And so that was the first time that I realized that it wasn't the weight that was making me depressed, right? There was something else wrong. And a million of these things healed while I still have 150 pounds of weight to lose. So, and I'm right here, and I've been here in the public eye for almost 2 years now. And keep me honest, see what happens. Just tune in, see where I go from here, because I'm so confident. I would have never, ever put my face out here on a standard American calorie restrictive diet, because never in my life would I have had confidence that it would work. But I am so confident that this is the way that I will live the rest of my life, because it's so easy. I'm not restricting anything, and I'm not white knuckling anything. That follow my story, and you'll see. Keep hold my feet to the fire for sure.
Right.
Round of applause to Todd. Clearly, in my opinion, I think maybe this comment is just not yet aware of just how much incredible healing you've walked already. So I went ahead and linked my interview with Todd, and note that this interview was filmed, I want to say like a year and a half ago. And I chose this one specifically because he really talks, and he's fresh out of the healing. So he really talks in detail the struggles that he went through in his health and how he healed. So definitely check that out. Once you watch that, you'll understand. It's so much more than just the weight loss, like Todd said. Follow his channel, follow his Rumble, link down below.
Yeah. Oh, we got a super chat already.
Speaking of which, it's going to be my time to go, and I'm going to eat something before I go to bed.
No problem. We really appreciate your time, Raymond. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
don't ever feel bad to drop off. We love you.
Thank you, everyone.
So
that was
Appreciate
awesome.
it, Raymond.
Thanks,
Good
Todd.
night.
Bye, Bella.
Good night.
See you soon.
Bye, all.
Bye, Raymond.
I'm gonna go find this comment.
No worries. I will put up another one in the meantime, and let's rapid fire here. We did that one. We did that one. Okay, let's see where we left off. Okay, I'd love to do this one. I'd love to do this one. And this is for me and Todd. Okay, so for each one of you, what exactly is your credibility, and why should people listen to you? What makes you stand out? I have a feeling this question is genuine. Like, it's not trying to be negative in what. Yeah, exactly. So for me, I always say, I am not a doctor. I wouldn't even say I'm an expert on carnivore diet eating. I am someone who was desperate to heal and who was desperate to just feel better. Someone who came from a vegan diet. And mind you, I was trying to do the vegan diet to heal and to feel better. Didn't work after 6 years of veganism. So for me, I share my story because I hope when I talk about veganism turned to carnivore and the success that I got from eating only plants to eating only animal foods, my biggest hope is it can touch young women. More than anything, I want it to reach women who are struggling with their self-esteem, with their acne, with their hormones, with possibly painful periods or no period at all. That's really my main motivating factor for why I post on YouTube and Instagram, for why I put up with the trolls and the naysayers and the just ridiculous amounts of people trying to drag me down. Why do I do it? Why do I keep doing it with so much hope and confidence and pride and honestly, joy? I love it because of the stories that I get to hear from my fellow young women of all ages, to be honest, and also the gentlemen. Like, just the testimonials that I get to hear in return from sharing my story is exactly why I keep posting videos. Now, whether or not people listen to me, I don't care. Okay. But it seems like when I look at the comment section, there's so many people who keep returning and watching my videos and empathizing, agreeing, sharing their relatable stories. So for me, I share it for the aspect of community and getting the word out. How about you, Todd?
Absolutely. Credential wise is basically just what I said. Look, I did this for weight loss and I was dying, 26 months ago. I had congestive heart failure. I had, I was 715 pounds. I was stuck in a chair, couldn't breathe. I was on home oxygen. My resting heart rate was 107 beats a minute. And, I wasn't going to, everything pointed to me not making it out of that situation. How I got there was because from the time I was a young kid, I was born huge. I now believe I was born insulin resistant. And by the time I was 14, I was 600 pounds. I'd been on every calorie restrictive diet my whole life. I spent my whole life doing extreme calorie restrictive diets. Even one time only eating twice a week, basically 2,000 calories a week for 17 months. I've lost 200 pounds twice in my life before and gained it back. And I lost 300 pounds twice in my life before and gained it back. And so I've seen dietitians. I've pressured to do bariatric surgery my whole life because otherwise, I was going to die, all this stuff. Had knee surgery from the weight and, problems with, my joints and things from the weight and all these things. But in 2023, I had to make a choice when I went into the hospital, and I was either go see all these specialists, take a bunch of more medications, be resolved to the fact that this was going to be my life. And I'd seen my dad and brother go down this road, and they'd both died, a little while before I went down this road, taking the medication, doing what they're supposed to do. It just killed them. And I just seen that in my future, and the bariatric surgery didn't seem to be the way out because my mom had it and my sister had it, and it failed for both of them. So as a Hail Mary, I threw it at carnivore. That was the only thing that's made sense that I hadn't tried yet. I'd tried keto and had some success with it. I believed in it. The information made sense, but I was still a carb addict because the keto stuff was keeping me addicted. And lo and behold, 6 months later, my life was changed. And I had to bet my life on it. I threw away all the medication. I didn't take any of it. I never went to one of the specialists. I prayed and I did carnivore, and I was like, I'm either going to die and go see my dad and brother that went before me, or this is going to work. And it worked. And I couldn't believe that it worked. And not only did it work, it took away depression, anxiety. I didn't want to eat a bullet every day anymore. There was finally, light at the end of the tunnel. I could breathe. I got off of oxygen. I got off of my CPAP. My resting heart rate went from 107 beats a minute down to 68 beats a minute. My oxygen saturation went from 88% well on 6 liters of oxygen, and it went all the way up to 96% off of oxygen. Like I said, I got off my CPAP. In like 6 or 7 months, I lost over 200 pounds. My gout went away. All of these things. I mean, I could list symptoms for forever. And when I realized through this whole path, it started, I was grateful, but it also kind of made me mad because so many people that I know, including myself and my family, were suffering from this stuff and we're being lied to. And so I realized that we're actually under attack, and it's for profit and control and power. And I don't care what anybody says. That's what I believe. And so I realized that a lot of our quality of life and our health is being stolen from us we're at war, and we're in a fight and we don't even know it. And it's not the fight that we think. And it's a propaganda war. They want us to believe that how you get fat is by not having willpower and eating too much. One of the reality of it is they've screwed up our food environment. They've turned our food into drugs, and they made it incredibly addictive. And then the foods that'll set us free, they demonized them, said that they cause heart disease and cancer and cholesterol and all these things, and they fearmonger to keep us away from the actual answer that'll heal us. And so that's why I'm here, to fight that nonsense, because I'm already living on, a second chance. Shouldn't have been here already. I wasn't going to live this long had I not made this change. So now I just want to fight it out. I want to fight the battle for these sons of bitches that have been selling us lies to gain all this power and greed. And they've been lying to us. And, they're the reason my dad's dead. They're the reason my brother's dead. They're the reason my other brother has MS. They're the reason that I was 600 pounds when I was 14 years old. And the reason that my mom has Parkinson's right now. They're the reason my sister had cancer, and these things. So, and suffering with arthritis right now. But we don't have to be sick. We don't have to be these things. It really is our food environment. So now that I'm feeling good, I just want to, fight this whole battle here. And I don't think there's anything more worth it. I don't think that anything on this planet has caused more pain, suffering, and death than what they've done to our food supply. I think it's going to go down as the biggest atrocity to mankind that there's ever been. I really believe that.
Could not have said it better. And I just want to put this up.
That's covering the chrome dome so you guys don't get blinded by the glare.
That too, Travers. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I almost feel like, and you guys watching the live and the playback can comment on this, after going carnivore and you get used to this new culture and way of thinking and living, after going carnivore, we almost like build this aversion towards doctors. Is that true? Do you guys feel that? You know,
for sure.
Where it's you just stop trusting them.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not that I don't trust their intention. I don't think that all doctors are wringing their hands and they want to kill us, right? But I think that they paid a lot of money to get indoctrinated and they don't even know it. I mean, look at some of the doctors that we go see. Some of the doctors, I mean, I've been in terrible shape my whole life and I'm in way better shape now, but I'm still not I still don't look great. And I go into doctors and I'm in better shape than some of them, like it's like, and they're telling when you think about the fact that doctors, like cardiologists, the number one killer of cardiologists is still heart disease. So what does that say? Like they're not even helping themselves. They don't even realize it. Everybody is also blinded. And I know because I've seen these doctors and man, they really do want to help. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to talk you into doing things that they really believe are going to help you, but they don't. The system is broken. There's the fact that they don't want to study what nutrition will do for disease. And they just want to study what drugs they can make to fight disease tells you everything, right? They're purposely staying away from it. And they purposely are fighting the obvious things that, why is it that I know and I found the cure for my problem being just a dumb electrician in Montana when I'd spent tens of thousands of dollars on doctors for 20 years that have all the knowledge and all the resources in the world. And this is their calling in life, is to find this answer. And they don't even know that cholesterol is bullshit.
Yeah.
I
guess it's just not their fault. It's not their fault because they were trained in a specific way, but I also so relate to Todd's frustration and pure fury because he lost so many loved ones due to that system, right? And so I'm loving what I'm seeing in the live chat, in the comments about how you guys feel. Let's stick together. I feel like we are absolutely changing the movement here and pushing it towards the direction that we want it to go. If you guys are following what's happening, I think it's pretty clear that there's hope. Yay.
There is. Well, there is. And this is what's great. Those 150 people on that boat you were just on, that's a great sign. That's going to make waves.
Exactly.
Sure. That's great.
Next cruise is going to be the whole Royal Cruise will be carnivores. And the crew members, they're going to be like, what the heck am I serving every night? And then they're going to go carnivore. I'm telling you, it's spreading like wildfire. But thanks to people like Todd. So I saw a lot of comments just loving what you shared, Todd. Just don't ever stop speaking the truth, which I know you will never stop because that's who you are down to your soul, Follow him on Rumble, guys. More of that.
We can get spicy on Rumble. They put me in the meat locker here on YouTube when I talk too much, but we'll go over to Rumble and we'll really say what we think.
Link down below.
Sure.
Okay. So let's play a game. We're going to wrap up soon. This has been a phenomenal live. As always, it gets better and better, to be honest. Let's all guess in the live chat. Don't give it away, Todd. How old do you think Raymond is? He's not here, but I know you guys saw him all of tonight. Probably seen his pictures and videos. Guess, put in the live chat, and then we'll reveal it in a few minutes. All right. Did we ever find Cynthia's question?
I didn't. Let me go back and look. I was going to ask Cynthia.
Oh, shoot. Now it's really buried.
Well, no, I went through all of them. So it's just
okay.
It's just the latest one. I'm almost, Cynthia, if
Okay.
you could re-ask your question and maybe reword it slightly. I
Yes,
feel like it
please.
got stuck in the filter because there is,
Yeah.
YouTube puts a live filter on. And I really went through all of them, including the starred comments and everything. And I could not find where you had left
That
a
does
question.
happen.
Yeah.
We're not ignoring you and we're not, not looking hard enough. So if you don't mind typing it again, we will be sure to answer. Let me do this one in the meantime. I saw this starred. Real quick, for those who are new and curious about Raymond's priming and fasting plan, you absolutely can do it when you're new, even if it's 1 week into carnivore, 1 day into carnivore. He actually does recommend it as a combination, starting carnivore with priming. He highly recommends. It's probably the best way you can start carnivore. Okay, hopefully that helps.
You
All
got
right.
a bunch of jokers in the chat.
1 million? What does that mean? Okay, 58, 48. I think he's 48. 105, you guys. You guys are joking. He's 53? I think he's 53,
That is
right?
53, but he might be 52 but I think he's 53.
Yeah,
I think
he's 50.
I think the reason why Thomas thinks he's 52, the same age as him, is because his profile still says he's 52, but he forgets to update it when he's been
He
here.
hasn't
Yeah.
updated in a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's 53. Okay. Still waiting for Cynthia's question here, so I'm going to go back up to the top. Let's see. Do I recommend cooking steaks in butter or beef tallow? I personally cook my steaks in its own beef fat. Like, I don't even add extra fat when I cook it. These days, I use my air fryer. I can show it. It's in the corner right there. That black box is the air fryer that I use every single day now. And it's just really good at giving a nice crispy sear because it goes up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, whereas most air fryers typically do 350 to 400 tops. This one gets super hot. The trick for air fryers is to preheat your air fryer. I know I sound like a broken record, but people need to hear it. New carnivores come in every single day. So preheat the air fryer for 5 minutes and then put in your steaks. Then you won't have boiled beef and you'll have a nice crust. Okay. Yum. All right. My first live. Welcome, Holly. I emailed in the questions, is it possible to eat this way with no gallbladder? Maybe you can share about this, Todd. I know you have a gallbladder, though.
Yeah, I have a gallbladder, but my mom doesn't. And she eats carnivore now. And yeah, absolutely. It just takes a little bit more time. But your gallbladder, even without a gallbladder, I forget whatever, your stomach still makes the bile. It just does a little bit slower, but it will pick up the pace as you do it. You just have to, it might take you a little bit more time, with the fat to ease into it a little bit slower. But I mean, shoot, in SBG, there's dozens and dozens of carnivores with no gallbladder that have no issues with it whatsoever.
Exactly. And then this is a great time to ask you guys, because I'm sure there are a few watching with no gallbladder. How do you make carnivore work? What are your tips? Okay, let's see. Okay, here. This is a good one. Beth, can anyone elaborate on drinking hot tea? Is it good or bad? I love my hot tea after dinner. From what you're saying, hot tea after dinner, if there's caffeine in that tea, that's a great time to drink. Well, that's at night, so you don't want to stay up, right? If it's a herbal tea, no caffeine, perfectly fine. Like we're not dogmatic here. We're not going to tell you that you have to do 100% pure, strict carnivore. I still drink coffee, and I drink it after my breakfast or my lunch if I'm eating lunch. And Todd right now is incorporating tea purposely for the oxalate dumping. So yeah, there's many reasons that tea can help and can be good. Okay,
Absolutely.
This is for you. All right, Janet wants to know, Todd, I was able to get a picanha, and now I want to know. Oh, picanha, gotcha. And now I want to know how to best cook it. I do not have a smoker.
I don't know what you do have. So if I didn't have a smoker, my second way to cook it would be to sous vide it, and then I would put it under the broiler in the oven. That would be the second way that I would do it. If I didn't have a sous vide machine and you're just basically talking air fryer, skillet, oven type of thing, I would do the air fryer thirdly, and I would dry it off, preheat your air fryer on high, and then I would put it in there and cook it to your internal temperature that you like. That would be the third way I would do it. And then the fourth way would be a reverse sear finished in the oven to get it to the proper temperature. Those in that order, that's how I would do it.
Nice. All right. I see Carnivore Communicator's question about the Butter Club. She wants to know if 12 years old is too young for Butter Club. Not at all. And I'm just going to drop the link to Butter Club. For those who missed it, I recommend you all join the Steak and Butter Gang. That's for everyone. Butter Club is specifically created for Gen Z and millennials up to 35. Not to exclude you guys over 35. That's what SBG is for. 12 years old is absolutely welcome. Okay.
All right. I'm going to go see if I can't. I'm going to go into, I don't know if this is going to cause any problems, but I'm going to try to go into YouTube Studio and see if I can release the question.
Yeah. That's
So,
weird. What
yeah,
could
because
it be?
I don't know. She said she's put it in there, and there must be something in there that the filter is filtering out. Well, let me see. Hopefully this doesn't knock me out or anything. If it does, I'll hop right back in.
No worries. Should I just continue with the Q&A while you do that?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, great. Let me keep going. Where did I leave off? Yeah. So with Todd's tea, he's drinking green tea. For those needing the specific tea that he's drinking, it's green tea. Okay, let's keep going. Janet, I learned a long time ago that when you sigh, your body is telling you that you are full. Interesting, because I sigh when I eat my first bite of meat. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm misunderstanding this sentence, because I usually do like a deep inhale and exhale and just sigh when I have my first bite of meat, especially when I'm hungry. So is this something that I'm missing? Let me know. Let's keep going. We did this already. Where can we follow Scott Everson and get info about events? So Scott does the Meat Stock retreats. You guys may have heard of it before. It's in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. He does it every year. Sadly, this year it's sold out, but I'll drop the link for where he posts his retreats. And the 2026 version should be coming out soon. On Instagram, he's Wired for Healing. All right. Karen wants to know, have you done bone broth videos? Yes, I have. And in fact, I did it on Instagram. I do need to do like a dedicated YouTube Bella's Cafe one. I'll say it right now, how to make it. It's so easy. Throw in your favorite meats with high collagen. I'll tell you mine right now. Chicken wings and oxtail. This combination is fantastic if you want that gelatinous, jiggly bone broth. Chicken wings, oxtail, throw it in your Instant Pot, cover it with just enough water. You don't want too much water, because the more water you add, the more diluted the flavor will be. I like it meaty tasting. So just enough water to cover it. And then I'll just do a high pressure cook for 50 minutes, let the steam naturally release, and enjoy it. If you want it jiggly, you do need to refrigerate it overnight. All right, Todd, should we go back to you?
Yes. Okay. So, Cynthia, I'm sorry, but I cannot find it, but here's what I did. This is my email address, the Carnivore Cure. Just send me a quick email and I'll pull it up and we'll answer it, because it's not going to let me release it until this goes to publish video. So I can't do anything to get it out of the filter right now, unfortunately.
Good idea. Thank you, Todd. Yeah. Okay. Cynthia saw it. Thank you, Cynthia. We'll keep an eye on your email and we'll answer it immediately. Okay. Let's keep going. You can take this. Pinky, why would I gain weight eating cottage cheese?
Well, my buddy Charlie, he's always in the chat. He says that dairy is built for taking calves and turn them into 400-pound steers, right? And I think he's got a point to that. So there's also casein and casomorphine that seems to point to the problem with dairy. It also seems to, casomorphine is just like what it says. It's like an opiate, and it actually stimulates the pleasure centers in your brain, which causes you to eat more dairy. Dairy also has, dairy sugar in there, right? Which is a little bit of a problem. It's not as big of a problem, but it does make you overeat, and it does appear to have an effect on us that makes us hold on to more weight and actually produce more fat. I do not know why it has this effect on some people stronger, but I just don't. I believe that grown people are not meant to eat that much dairy, probably. So I know for me, I'm not, but I think there's a lot of people that can, especially the raw stuff. I also think that there's some sort of correlation between the processed dairy versus the raw dairy, because a lot of people don't have this problem with
Yes.
the raw dairy. So
Definitely. Yep.
I don't know why it doesn't make complete and total sense, other than it does make pretty big steers. So it's good at doing that.
Yes. And also, Pinky, how much of the cottage cheese are you eating? And are you eating it as a whole meal, a standalone snack? Even as a standalone snack, when you're eating dairy and cottage cheese on its own, you can easily overeat. So if you missed what we were talking about earlier with Raymond's whole psychology in recommending dairy to open up the appetite is so that you can eat more and that you can eat enough. But if you have no issues with eating enough and having that healthy, voracious appetite, the issue with cheese and dairy is that you can overeat. You can overindulge and therefore stall in your weight loss goals, or maybe even gain weight. And I actually recommend, as my best tip for those who want to gain healthy weight, either with anorexia or with whatever healing that they need to gain healthy weight, I say you should incorporate raw dairy. I even need raw dairy these days to make sure that I'm feeling great and my energy is up. So it depends on where you are in your journey, what you're trying to heal, and also your appetite. So if you overeat on the cottage cheese, that's a sign that you need to focus on eating maybe fatty meats as a whole meal with the cottage cheese as a side or as a dessert. Try that. Right.
For sure.
Did we get the email?
Nope, I'm looking right now and I
Okay,
keep
no
refreshing.
worries.
So.
Then let's keep going. We have lots of great questions. Ryan, I think this is Ryan at Ryan in SBG, right?
It
In
looks
open
like
chat?
it. I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Why do some people claim keto wrecks their hormones? I see this all the time. I would love everybody's opinion on why people claim this. Todd?
Well, I think it's vegans with wrecked hormones that are commenting that, and their brain's not working, I think is what it really boils down to. I don't know. Anybody that I've ever seen on carnivore, at least, I don't know what they mean by keto. I mean, maybe they're eating more like if they're actually on keto and they're eating a bunch of junk and they're not getting enough fat. I mean, if you're not getting enough fat, you're going to have terrible hormones. If you're also eating keto and you're getting if you're eating the artificial sweeteners, the swerve, the stevia, all those fake convection sugars and crap that's littered in keto, your gut microbiome is going to be wrecked, and you're going to have bad hormones because of that. But if you just mean a ketogenic diet, like carnivore, if you're doing clean carnivore and eating a lot of fat, your hormones are going to be awesome. And that's coming from a guy that used to have a testosterone of 137 that's now over 600. My hormones are fantastic now. They were wrecked on the standard American diet, and carnivore absolutely healed them. So I have no clue why people say that, really.
My guess is, I love what you said. My guess is ketogenic diet focuses on extremely high fat, almost to the point where it's a therapeutic high fat experience. So I wonder if people end up wrecking their hormones and tanking their metabolism because they're just not eating enough protein, which is the meat itself. When you're not eating enough, of course, under eating causes wrecked hormones. We see that over and over. So you can eat as much fat as you want. And if you're under eating protein, you still will wreck your hormones. Yeah.
Sure. Still no email.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's her name? Cindy?
Yeah, Cynthia. Oh, here we go. I just came in.
Yay. Okay, good.
Right. I see that. Okay. Okay, go ahead and ask your question, Cynthia. She said, "Hi, my name." I won't give her out her name, but she said in the chat, "My questions aren't coming through." Oh, sorry, this isn't the same person either. She said her questions aren't coming through either.
Oh.
I don't know why that is, guys. I don't understand it either. But go ahead and email me your questions, and we will answer them then.
Sure, we can do that. Let me just confirm this. Yes, that is correct. Right there, what I verbally said to make my favorite bone broth, that is how to make it. So you guys can screenshot that. Thank you for typing it out, Auntie. All right, this one's from Tim. From Walker to Walking. We love Tim. Would eating carnivore cause chronic UTI? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't think. I mean, the most that I could think where carnivore would have any relation to a UTI would be if you were going through some sort of detox, but I don't think it would cause it. It would be something that was in there, but I can't think of anything, It's like technically carnivore caused my kidney stones because it healed them, because it got rid of it, broke it down to where I could pass it. But, the kidney stone was always there. Maybe if you were dealing with some toxic stuff or something, but yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. Okay, good. I agree with that. I really don't think it could cause UTI. There are so many factors when things get worse, when infections happen. I know you, Tim, like you work with Rebecca as well. I know she'll give you the best advice on that. Okay?
For sure.
Yes, there's someone in my house. Don't worry, guys. No one's breaking in my house. It's Max. They're just concerned for me. They're like freaking out. Oh, so cute. Okay. Anyone, I wear a CGM. I've noticed my glucose elevates when I exercise. Does this go away the longer I'm carnivore? That's normal to have glucose elevate when you exercise. That's so normal. If it doesn't elevate when you exercise, there's something wrong. So
yeah, it's actually a positive.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying it's actually a positive thing because you wouldn't be working out very well and you'd be pretty tired if your glucose didn't elevate when you're working out.
You want your heart rate going up. Therefore, your glucose will also naturally go up. So don't be concerned. Cisse, Bella, is it normal yet to say I am carnivore at a restaurant? This is a really cool question because I typically will not be the person at a random restaurant to announce to my waiter or waitress, oh, by the way, I'm carnivore, and expect them to know what it means. I typically actually shy away from telling people voluntarily that I'm carnivore. But there are instances where like my husband, he's ordering for me. He'll just lightly say, by the way, she's carnivore. And then the waiter will look perplexed and be like, you mean she's a meat lover? So what I'm saying is, as of now, from what I'm observing in restaurants and in the scene here, people don't really get the memo when you say you're a carnivore and put dots together, knowing that you're only eating meat. They still assume that you're just a meat lover, a steak lover. Okay. So if anyone has had experiences saying I'm carnivore at a restaurant and people actually getting it, I'd love to know in the chat and in the comments.
Absolutely. So this is one of the comments. This is not Cynthia's, but it's from Luis Hernandez. This is one that wasn't coming through as well.
Oh, interesting. So I've been doing carnivore for 9 days and still I feel low energy. I've been keeping up with my electrolytes and salting my meats. Any advice? Okay. What do you think, Todd? Low energy.
Yeah. I mean, so in 9 days, I think it's just too early to tell. You're just not, first of all, you may not even have gotten all the glucose out of your, system yet and your carbs out of your liver, and so that takes a little bit of time. Then you go through some, liver detoxing, some things that'll make you a little bit tired. And then if you're eating enough, which you probably aren't because you're 9 days in and carnivore is very satiating. So you're probably not eating enough, but once you do get eating enough, you're also going to be tired for a little while because your body wants to heal and it's finally got some nutrients and it wants to work on that. But that takes some time. But you're just at the very precipice of this whole thing, and it's going to take some time for your body to heal. I mean, I'd have sprints of energy at first, but honestly, it took over 4 months before I got decent energy back, and it just took time to heal up,
So when we talk about low energy and improving energy levels on our panels in these live streams, we're always so great at saying, look, if you're low energy after going carnivore, don't feel like you're a failure, or please don't ever feel like there's something wrong, even if it's months into carnivore, because low energy doesn't necessarily always mean that something is wrong, that your hormones are tanked, that you are doing not enough of whatever, or that you need electrolytes even. Low energy could simply mean that your body is so focused on healing and nourishing, repairing your organs, reversing your health concerns, that your body just naturally needs rest. So I love saying that low energy does not equal something is wrong, because you could just need naps. Dr. Kills is the king of saying naps are good. Like, be a lion, right? So you feast and then you nap and you rest in the sun. My first few months of going carnivore, I was napping and sleeping more than I ever have in my life. It makes sense because I was also eating 5 pounds of meat and a stick of butter a day, at least. So you can imagine that when you're eating that big of amount of protein and fat, your body needs to rest to digest, turn all of that amazing food into energy or things to heal your body. I don't automatically assume that something's wrong when there's low energy. And this guy, Lewis, is 9 days in only. You can for sure try to salt a little bit heavier, maybe up the electrolytes, but also don't forget, are you resting? Are you taking naps? Because that's important too.
For sure. All right. Cynthia's question came in. I think I see why it wasn't going through, because it's kind of an encyclopedia. So it came in. So it's came in 4 questions.
Got it. Thank you for catching this. So Cynthia says, mostly carnivore for over a year now. Seems the more I get into it lately, the more problems I'm having. Recently, I'm having chronic issues like lightheadedness, palpitations, chronic diarrhea, plantar fasciitis. Is there more?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, okay. Skin and nail problems, a whole host of issues regularly. Electrolyte imbalance like crazy. I don't know how to fix it. I've had to increase my electrolyte balance because of the palpitations and swelling. Everything gets worse if I try to decrease them, so I end up increasing. It is a yo-yo. It's maddening. Thank you so much for going out of your way to answer my questions. God bless you guys. Thank you, Cynthia, for the question. So sorry that just didn't go through. I wonder why. Let's start with Todd.
I think this is absolutely the best example, one of the best examples of why I think people need communities like SBG, because there are so many nuances. You know, everybody goes, says all the time, well, can you just tell me how many calories am I supposed to eat? Can you just tell me if I should be eating 5 eggs or, 8 eggs? Could you just tell me if I should be eating grass-fed meat? Everybody is trying really hard to take something that's really complicated. The nuances are complicated in carnivore. The idea of carnivore is very simple, which is eat natural carnivore foods as much as you can. But we're all coming from a really malnourished and kind of a rough place, metabolically speaking. Might have autoimmune problems, all sorts of things that take special attention, right? But what's maddening, what I recognize so much in this comment here, and why I recognize your frustration is when you don't have some help and some guidance from people that went through these frustrating things before you, every negative thing that comes up, you think you might be doing something wrong. And so you'll change the goalpost. You'll change what you're eating. You'll change when you're eating. You'll change how much you're eating. You'll eat less. You'll eat more. You'll change the fat. You're just kind of blowing in the wind because you don't have a true north to go off of here. When the reality of it is, sometimes carnivore doesn't always feel good, because you're going to go through some healing. You're going to go through some detoxing, and there's some negative feelings. You're going to get tired, but these things aren't all bad. They're actually just part of the healing process. For instance, when I was gone carnivore, I had neuropathy in my legs, and then my legs started burning and aching really bad. My feet felt like they're in frying pans. That wasn't a bad thing. It was actually a good thing because my nerves were healing. And so I was getting sensation back, and that's what that feels like. And then going through oxalate dumping sucks, but the reality of it is it's part of the process to get rid of the you know, to detox and get rid of the stuff that we put in our body that's been hurting us. The kidney stone sucked, but it wasn't carnivore's fault that I had kidney stones. I had a big kidney stone already that I'd put through there by drinking all the energy drinks. And then carnivore finally attacked it, broke it down into small gravel that was small enough to pass, but sure didn't feel good. If I didn't know what was happening, I would have thought, oh no, carnivore's giving me all this pain and stuff. And the only reason why I know what I know now is because of SBG and hearing it from you guys that all went through it before me and that are all sharing the information. And then you go, oh, that's what's happening. This is a normal process of carnivore. So with that said, we need to know so much more. We have all your symptoms here and all the things that are going wrong, but we don't actually know what you're doing, what you're eating. And that's why you got to have a community. You know,
but what you're trying to heal as well. Did you have an oxalate heavy diet before? Did you restrict a lot before? Are you coming from a place of lots of seed oils, lots of factors that people can really help you out with in a community? And again, I like to just say, it doesn't have to be SBG community, Steak and Butter Gang. It can be the many communities out there like Kelly Hogan. I know Carrie and Adam has their new Healing Humanity community. I know Dr. Chafee has a community. Like literally all of our favorite carnivores, I'm pretty sure they all have communities now. So choose your favorite who inspires you the most. Join the community, join multiples. I know a lot of carnivores are in all of the communities, right? It keeps you on track, gives you the knowledge you need. You won't get these nitty-gritty details sorted out unless you talk to people who have lived carnivore and who have survived these adaptation symptoms. These are normal, by the way, Cynthia, not concerning to me at all. I've seen all of these symptoms, if not all at the same time, from many carnivores going through adaptation. I've gone through a lot of those myself. So don't be discouraged. Keep going. Keep us posted. Maybe join the community. It's linked in the description and it's up on the screen right now. All right.
For sure.
Shall we keep going? Okay, it is almost 3 hours. Should we keep up with the tradition to stop right before 3 hours?
I think so. And we got through our, we found all of our email questions. So yeah, I think it's perfect.
Perfect. Let's just do a couple more real quick. Yes, I see this. You started, Todd. So a lot of you guys wanted to do a live stream dedicated to food addiction. I will note that. Very excited. Maybe we can invite some of your favorite food addiction experts. Could you guys put it in the live chat? Who do you love to hear and learn from when it comes to sugar addiction and food addiction? Okay, this one. You can take this, Todd. I'm having a hard time with seasonings. It has 0 grams of sugar, but sugar is listed in the ingredients.
For sure. That's one of the greatest. This is the reason why you can only do single ingredient freeze-dried seasonings if you're going to do them, because if it's under a certain amount, like if it's under 1 gram, they don't have to list it. So they make sure that they make the serving sizes so microscopically small that they can pretend like there's no sugar on there, and then they can take the calories away. They can do all that stuff. But the reality of it is there's sugar in there. And if you really looked it up, you're probably using, when anybody seasons, I mean, if you're going to season to where it actually makes a difference on the food, you're going to put 20 servings, 30 servings of that seasoning on your steak, because they make these serving sizes like ridiculously microscopically small. And so you end up getting 5, 10, 15, 20 grams of sugar in that seasoning when it says it doesn't have any. So the thing with seasonings are, they're great if you can tolerate them, but you need to figure out if you can tolerate them, and you do not want to get like seasonings with several different things. Like you don't want to get a chili powder mix or a taco mix. You want to get single ingredient freeze-dried seasonings and then make your own combinations that are clean, that you can tell. And that's the beauty of carnivores. It's an elimination diet, an animal-based elimination diet. Take it all out for a few months, then add those in one at a time to see what it's doing to you. See if it makes you get inflamed and that's how I found out I can't have black pepper, and things like that. So.
Even I also feel like black pepper, for me, I get a snot and a runny nose immediately
100%.
after having it.
100%.
Yep. So for those, again, I like to talk about the other side, which is my husband represents very much. He needs the seasonings, he needs the flavors and the sauces. Just make sure there's no sugar in the ingredients. There's actually quite a lot of brands out there. That's very easy to find. Sugar-free hot sauces. List some that you like.
Yeah, I
Frank's.
like,
You like
I like Frank's Red Hot. I also like Tabasco, and even Cholula's isn't bad. There's
Yeah.
a funny thickening agent in
have
Cholula's,
that.
but I don't have problems with it. But
It's good enough. Again, don't stress out. As long as there's no sugar, maybe no MSG. Dextrose is sugar, guys. Look for that one too. They do sneak it in. Okay, how can we do variety on carnivore? You can do variety by adding in seafood. I went to a sashimi restaurant on the cruise with Paulina, Melanie, and shoot, I forgot her name. Oh, I feel so bad. Okay, 3 beautiful carnivore ladies, and it was so fun to have like a refreshing meal of sashimi. What is sashimi? It is sushi without the rice. It's just the raw fish. So Japanese restaurants are a great place to do carnivore, or you can go to your local Korean market like H Mart or your local Japanese market, and they have the best sliced up, ready to buy and eat sashimi packaged for you. Or you can go to your fish market, farmer's market, go to the seafood stand and get a whole chunk of salmon and eat that raw. Oh my gosh.
100%.
I'm like drooling just thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I love to do is I take the salmon and I cut it flat, about a 1/4 inch thick, and then I
Yes.
take prosciutto and put it on top of the salmon, and then I take cream cheese and I put it on top of the prosciutto. Then I take pickled jalapenos and put it in there, and I make a sushi roll out of it, and I roll it up, and then you slice that, and oh my gosh, is that good!
Where did you learn that, Todd? I'm so
I
curious.
just had a craving one day, and I was just making stuff, and I was like, I wanted sushi so bad, and so I was like, one of the sushi rolls that I used to like was the spicy salmon cream cheese sushi roll, and so I was like, okay, I can get the
yes.
spicy with the pickled jalapenos, that works. I can get the cream cheese, and then I just put the prosciutto in there to try to hold it together, and it gave it a really nice fatty bacon taste, and then I wrapped that. Oh, it was so good, and I still do that.
Good.
Yeah, it's a splurge because of the cream cheese, but I love that. It's
Good
really
job.
good.
No, because Koreans who love sashimi, that's exactly how they eat their raw salmon. And so I was like, are you part Korean?
I think my taste buds are.
Well, you do hate KBBQ just for the portion, tiny little meats. But that's so impressive. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's so good. There's so many fun ways to open it up to. Like, literally, first of all, what you have to realize is that if you're on the standard American diet, your taste buds are so dulled down, it's not even funny, because you're just so used to this over the top sugar and salt profile that just is just wrecking your taste buds. When you get off of that nonsense, you can actually taste like actual flavor profiles of your food. You can taste all the individual flavor profiles. Then the cuts of meat taste like beef. We call it beef, but all the different cuts of beef taste different. Then how you cook it tastes different, like literally, you know?
Yeah. It tastes different when it's hot, room temp, and cold. You can be so creative if you really just look into the details and the nuance. So hopefully that gave you lots of ideas. Yes, thank you, B-Dog. Check out the Bella's Cafe recipes. That's why I post them, to keep it exciting for you guys. Thank you so much for loving them. Okay, I guess we will wrap up with final announcements, Todd. Again, Lindy's GoFundMe is still up and active. She still has a lot to get done. She got how many pounds of loose skin so far, and how many left?
19 pounds of loose skin. She has roughly 30 more pounds to go, but this was the 90 pounds that was holding her back the most. It was right in one area on the belly that was absolutely, keeping her off balance. And like I said, it was hiding a life-threatening hernia that we didn't even know about. And so that was going to cause serious problems. And so it literally ended up being a life-saving surgery for her. And, absolutely freeing. Like, she didn't even understand. It was so crazy. She was drugged up and called me within 30 minutes or so, 30 minutes to an hour getting out of surgery, and she was still drugged up. But even then she goes, oh my gosh, I feel so much lighter. I'm laying in bed and this isn't pulling me off to the side, making me off center and out of balance. Just in bed, I can feel it. And with the drugs in her, and then the next morning she was brought to tears by it because she's able to walk around and she really felt just how free that is. Just imagine if you had a couple bowling balls hanging off the front of your stomach. And what people also don't realize is that was just skin. What it wasn't was the fluid that skin holds. And I know that for certain because I have some loose skin. And if I have any, if I drink too much fluid or whatever, it'll hold that fluid. It acts like a reservoir and then it really weighs you down. So some days that 19 pounds of loose skin was 40 pounds, it was holding 20 pounds of fluid, It's crazy.
Wow.
It was so heavy. It was cutting off blood circulation to her legs every time she'd sit down and her legs would go numb,
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So thank you guys who have contributed and who will. Thank you in advance. Thank you. Link is in the live chat. And sorry, Todd, I thought when I posted the live today that the GoFundMe was already finished. So I went ahead and put it in the description again, at least on my channel. So if you guys are watching on, so if you guys are watching the live stream on my channel, you just simply need to refresh the page and you'll see all the links that we shouted out: the GoFundMe, the Carnivore Cruises, Meat Stock, Hack Your Health. Everything is linked down below in the description box. Okay?
Absolutely.
Wow. What a great live. Anything else, Todd? I'll have you finish.
Man, I would just say Hack Your Health in Tampa in November. Come check us out there. That's awesome.
Yes.
And then, other than that, I mean, I guess look forward to Bella's what your next carnivore cruise here. You're going to do a collab here.
Oh yeah. So, well, I'm talking lightly, so I can't announce anything for sure yet, but I love that Todd brought it up. The Carnivore Cruise, again, I'll just put this up because it's right in front of my face and it's so cool. 150 people on the Carnivore Cruise where we spent our honeymoon. So honored that Dr. Wiedemann invited us on, and we got to spend it with 150 phenomenal carnivores. Every single carnivore is just a good person, like just so nice and so loving. The next Carnivore Cruise that we will do in the future will most likely grow in size, inevitably. The carnivore community is growing as we speak. And so I would love to help Dr. Wiedemann share it more on my platform, on Instagram. The team, I'm sure, would love to join in as well. So just look forward to lots of great carnivore vacations, cruises, conventions, meetups, retreats, so many different synonyms for just a great time. And I will make sure to link all of it down below in the description box. So I'll say it again. Refresh your page and then you'll see the links because I updated it just now when Todd was talking. I guess that's everything.
Yeah, I was wondering, do you think it would, this is just spitting out loud, but would it make sense at all? And obviously we'd have to see if it was available, but seeing as how they poured out of Tampa, when we do Hack Your Health, if being that all those carnivores would be there anyways, wonder if that's the time to try to do a combo package.
I'm going to bring this up to Dr. Wiedemann. That's so genius. I know that she has a couple lined up and pre-booked already this year. I know that she has one in September that's going to Nova Scotia. And a lot of the carnivores on board were like super excited about that one. But I think that is so, so fantastic because after that awesome weekend at Hack Your Health, it would be great to jump on a ship and vacation. Yeah. If not this year, next year for sure. Thank you for that, Todd. I think I'll bring it to her. Great ideas.
All right.
All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you next week. Friday is the next time.
We're back on Friday. We'll see you Friday. And for everybody in the SBG, we will see you tomorrow in SBG.
In SBG. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.